Ayo, top5rapwebsite.com. You already know what's going on. Another Friday live stream. Okay. So long sleeves on, quick little story time before we start the reaction. Today we're reacting to, obviously you can see the video. We're reacting to Louaista's newest video. The Big Three is a Lie. It's a 36-minute joint. So it's a long one today. But first we're gonna do some housekeeping, right? Okay, so boom. New videos on the channel. You guys have seen it. We don't need to say too much. But story time. So we got the long sleeves on today. Why though? Yo, my entire left arm, I don't say the entire, but from like the shoulder to like probably about the forearm, completely bruised. It's an ugly sight. Bruised, like discolored, just from training, boxing. But I think that's a good thing because I didn't take any, this week I didn't take any hard body shots. Them body shots, getting hit on the arm feels it's a lot less harsh than getting hit, And in the midsection, that get hit a little liver shot, got you like, you can't even talk, you can't even breathe. So, yeah, that just means I'm getting better. So anyway, shout out to Juice Lee, shout out to Zero. In the chat, Juice Lee said we need a review of that Rayvon mixtape. I'm not listening to that. In order for me to listen to Rayvon, he's gonna have to release something that's like, I just have so little time nowadays. I did listen to the new Wiz Khalifa, Cushion Orange Juice too, which was great. But I have such little time nowadays to listen to. Rayvon has to prove that he's worth listening to, which he has not done for me. So anyways, I was at the gym, when was it, yesterday? And I don't know, this dude just comes up to me, right? And he's like, what did he say? He was like, I feel like you did. He's like, I feel like you disrespected me. I was like, I've never seen this dude in my life. I took my AirPod out. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I think I saw you looking at my girl. I was like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, and you could tell he's like a little slow. He's like it's like a big black dude, like a defensive lineman type. He probably like 6'4". He probably like 6'4", about 250, but like a defensive lineman, but he's not in shape, right? And I can kind of gauge because my little brother is kind of like that same shape, but my little brother's not 6'4", he's probably like 6'2", so he was taller than my little brother and he was like bigger. But he's like, yo, I feel like you disrespected me. I feel like you was looking at my girl or something. I've never seen this dude ever. I was just like, disrespecting you, bro. I don't even know you. I'm the king at walking away from stuff, right? But I just been training so hard lately. And when I train at the gym, I'll be wanting to go against the guys who got amateur fights under their belt, who got a record, guys who trying to go pro, because I just like to test and gauge where I'm at. So anyway, and the thing is, you could tell when a big dude is used to just intimidating people. Like he's never had to do anything but just intimidate them offside. So he goes into this whole thing about, and you could tell he's kind of slow because he can't really formulate a sentence that well. He just kind of like, well, I just disrespecting. I just feel, again. So at a certain point, it just becomes irritating, and I just go like, let's just go outside and fight. And again, I'm not the type of dude to even do this, but I've just been itching to test some stuff out. Because like when I'll be in the gym, like we got the same people, but then we have new people come in who train at other gyms, and I be wanting to spar with them because I just like to see where I'm at. And I think that took him back a little. The big dude, I think it took him back a little bit. He's kind of like, you can see kind of like the shock on his face. Like, I don't want to fight you. I was like, why not? I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. You don't want to fight me? I don't want to talk to you. So anyways, I just thought that was funny. I've never seen this dude in my life. He's talking about he feels disrespected. Something about a girl. I don't know. And yeah, that's my story. Said, did you take down the Wiz Khalifa Cushion Orange Juice review? No, I never did the review. I haven't done it yet. Cushion Orange Juice is cheeks. What? Cushion Orange Juice 2 is fire. Cushion orange juice too is fire. I'm gonna put that video out. Dolph said, ain't no big three, there's just top 5. Yeah, we'll see what Louaista says. But I had to get my little story off. You can just tell when a dude is just big and he's just used to intimidating people. I just took it. I did something that I don't normally do. I'm glad, I'm proud of myself for restraining myself. But I was really trying to test some stuff out. Well, we'll say that for the gym. My coach, he would be ashamed if I would have gotten a little street fight. Like, man, what are you doing? But anyway, yeah, if you're big but you don't train, don't try it, bro, because it's not going to end up the way you think it is. And the thing is, I just learned at my gym that I train at, we got a jiu-jitsu studio next door. So I just learned like the Kimura from defending full guard. I learned the guillotine. I just learned all that this week. So I just be wanting to test some stuff out, like like in a real life situation. But we'll save it for an emergency. That wasn't an emergency. You're not even conditioned enough. If you ain't conditioned, you're not gonna be able to spar with me. Like, you gotta be conditioned, bro. So anywho, there was a play on your name. Yeah, top 5. So anywho, we gonna jump right into Louaista's. The big three is a lie. Let's see what Louaista's talking about.
Has become a bigger part of the hip-hop conversation in the past year than it ever was before. Where people used to talk about Mount Rushmores of certain eras, the obsession has now shifted. Not just to who's in
because Mount Rushmore's 4, so now it's dwindled down to 3.
This elite club, but who exactly the one true GOAT of the class really is. Of course, we're talking about Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole.
That's as loud as it could go, y'all.
Balance of commercial success
full
and
blast.
critical respect, earning them the title of the kings in modern-day hip-hop. But after the fallout from 2024's great rap civil war between Drake and Kendrick, everything's changed. And now, fans are starting to question
Shout
if
no
those
name in the
power
chat.
still deserve their spot. To others, the whole idea feels outdated or just flat-out flawed, especially when there are other artists making just as much noise, if not more, than the ones we're always told are at the top. It's your boy Louaista, and this is why the big three
Shout out Louaista.
Because what started as a legendary trio might have ended in a reshuffling of the entire rap game. And today we're breaking down who fumbled, who stayed solid, and who might just be next up.
Who fumbled, who stayed solid out of the big three? Let's see. I'm gonna let him cook. Let me let him cook.
It was pretty much accepted as a fact of life that Kendrick, Cole, and Drake were the biggest artists in hip-hop today.
Yeah.
While each carved out his own lane, they were the kind of artists who could bring the entire game to a halt whenever they dropped, forcing everyone to pay attention and analyze.
Yo, why? This is crazy footage. Like, what the heck?
Whenever they dropped, forcing everyone to pay attention and analyze what had
Yo, what is this all about, man? What is this all about?
Just gone down. And for years, this went basically unchallenged by a majority of the hip-hop community. This persisted for years, with the three of them basically being seen in the unobtainable and unequaled space that today's artists could only aspire to come close to. For the most part, the Big Three label was an unspoken truth, never directly acknowledged by the rappers themselves, but likely always lingering in the back of their minds.
Well, it was just how things turned out. Coming out of the blog era with all that spur of great talent from, 2008 onward, 2008 onward, it just became so that Drake, Kendrick, and Cole were a cut above the rest in terms of artistry.
That is, until Drake and Cole finally put it on wax with First Person Shooter, rapping about who the real GOAT was and boldly declaring,
"Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey or me? We the big three like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali."
It was the first time that the trio was officially stamped in a song out in the open for the world to debate.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Cole, it wasn't his first time addressing his place in the rap hierarchy, as he did
Middle
something
Child.
similar on Heaven's EP, where he
He got a whole song called Middle Child, basically saying he's below Drake but above Kendrick. I don't know. It's just this thing with Cole. I don't know. You listen to Cole's music and he sounds like he just doesn't believe that he's on their level. Middle Child is literally a song about how he's in the middle. Like, he's not as big as Drake, but he's not as talented as Kendrick or something like that. I mean, go listen to Middle Child.
Acknowledge the rankings some fans had in mind. But when Jermaine called himself the Muhammad Ali of the trio, the self-proclaimed King Kendrick wasn't about to let that slide. In classic K-Dot fashion, he fired back with a now iconic line where he said,
"Motherfuck the big three, nigga,
It's just big meat.
And from that moment on, everything changed.
I like how he censored the N-word, but not the F-word. Shout out to Louaista censoring the N-word when he didn't even say it. You know, that's a real allyship.
From push-ups to Euphoria and Family Matters to Not Like Us, K-Dot and Drake duked it out for supremacy. And no matter who you think came out on top, one thing's clear. Right now, it's only Kendrick.
Child Drew, Gabby Witt in the chat said, Middle Child is not about that. Oh, what's it about? Let's look up some lyrics. That's how I interpret it. Middle Child is about J. Cole being in the middle of the big three. Oh, we looking up on Genius. Yo, how did this website? Okay, I was gonna say. Anyways, let's see. They act like two legends cannot coexist. I never beef with a dude for nothing. If I smoke a rapper, it's gonna be legit. Obviously, these bars didn't age well. But Middle Child is basically J. Cole acknowledging a big three. He mentioned Drake, then he says they acting like legends can't exist, or coexist, rather. I haven't heard this song in a long time. How to Talk with Kodak. Reminded me of people from the Ville. Maybe you could be right. I remember Middle Child, or maybe it was an explanation I saw that J. Cole had about it. J. Cole's first offering of 2019 serves as a warning. Cole envisions himself in the center of old and new generations of hip hop, therefore making him the middle child of rap. That's not really what I got from it. What y'all think? The link between Jay-Z and 21 being caught between generations? Okay. I need to listen to the song again. But anyway, J. Cole, he just be acting like he's not on Drake or Kendrick's level. That's just the way he acts.
And Drake, who seem to be actively battling for the crown. Meanwhile, the moves, or lack thereof, by the third member of the trio have people wondering if he quietly gave up his spot a long time ago. Whoever's in it, J. Cole is in it. At least, that's how a growing number of fans online see it. Comments like this one have been flooding sites like Reddit whenever the Big Three debate comes up. Although his rhyme—
And who cares what people on Reddit think, honestly? I mean, I don't know. J. Cole he's in the Big Three because of the work that he put in. If he wasn't putting in that work, he would not be mentioned amongst those people. It would be Nicki Minaj, or it will be Wiz Khalifa, or it will be Future or someone. J. Cole is in it because he put in that work. J. Cole was dropping some amazing guest features when Kendrick was completely silent. Like from 2017 onward, after Kendrick dropped the Damn album and didn't drop anything else for like years and years and years, and then dropped Mr. Morale, which is J. Cole was like on a crazy feature run. Confronting artists, lukewarm is overrated, and anyone listening to him now doesn't hear how much potential he had in 2010-12. Yeah, not even just potential. J. Cole was really, really good from 2010 to 2012. Like he was legitimately one of the best rappers out. He's still mid and hasn't grown lyrically. I think he's grown lyrically. Like on KOD, we got a bunch of new flows. On the off season, we got a lot of different topics like Pride is the Devil and stuff. I think J. Cole has grown lyrically. Throws rocks and hides his hands when confronting artists. I don't think that either. I think when J. Cole took shots at Lil Pump on the KOD album, obviously this is Lil Pump. This is like punching downwards. But I think he didn't hide his hand. He said, yo, in 5 years, you're going to be on Love and Hip Hop. I think it's just this one situation that he had with Kendrick that makes people feel like that's what he does. Wiz is trash and he shouldn't be considered in no big nothing. Wiz Khalifa is like one of the most popular artists and rappers, I should say, in the past 15 years. And he did it all. Did Wiz ever have a Drake feature? I don't think Wiz ever had a Drake feature. Like he was popping.
Often allude to his unparalleled pen game, Cole's words out of the booth have suggested that he's tried to take himself out of the contention for any GOAT talk repeatedly. Instead, he insists he wants to keep things friendly.
Like nobody can really relate to that like these dudes, and I really genuinely fuck with these dudes. So like I've been trying to, absolutely make an effort like as time goes on to like strip the competition from it. Like y'all niggas are cemented forever. You know what I mean? Like I will hope that I'm cemented forever, and if not, I will be, when it's all said and done. In my mind, it's how I'm him.
See, again, this is what I'll be talking about with J. Cole. Yo, Drake and Kendrick, y'all are cemented forever. I just hope one day I can be cemented forever like y'all. What are you talking about, man? You talking like, yo, this dude is talking like these are his elders. Like Drake and Kendrick are his elders. Like, what are you talking about, man?
So it's like there's like the competition part I've stripped away, and I'm now on some shit like, man, I'm more interested in the relationship because I also see a time when I'm not doing it.
Since then, he has continued to suggest that Drake was better than him.
Sus.
Greenville Festival, if y'all don't make some noise for the motherfucking GOAT tribute Drake.
While also standing there and accepting a consultation prize speech.
Yeah, getting Lil Bro'd. He's happy to be Lil Bro'd by Drake.
Directly from Drake.
I gotta say this just because, you know, I don't always want to have like a heartfelt moment when we're on stage together and shit, but you know, you did that pipe down freestyle the other day, right? And you were saying in the freestyle about, you know, they handed you the bronze and whatever, me and Kendrick. I just want you to understand something. You are genuinely, without a doubt, one of the greatest rappers to ever touch a mic.
That's true. J. Cole is one of the GOATs. But you don't need Drake to tell you that. Like your fans are telling you that. Why do you need Drake to tell you that?
No, it's way too many people in the world that think and know that J. Cole is at top on the pole position. So don't understand. I love you with all my heart. You're my brother, one of my favorite artists, and I always appreciate.
From then on, this kind of love fest was basically commonplace, cementing the idea that J. Cole was one person on the mic and another entirely away from it. He even praised Drake after first-person shooting.
Cole, just a respectful guy. His humility is a show of confidence, in my opinion. I swear I'm not a Cole stan. Yeah, so Cole is a respectful guy, but you don't gotta like downplay. I feel like Cole downplays himself. Like, this would be cool if he's like talking about Jay-Z and Nas. Like, yo, Jay-Z and Nas, these guys are cemented. I hope one day I can be on their status, you know? But he's not talking about Jay-Z and Nas. He's talking about two dudes that he came up with. And Cole was popping before Kendrick. Cole was like already known. And he was on the Blueprint 3, Jay-Z's album, before anybody knew Kendrick, even me. The Blueprint 3 came out like what, summer or fall 09? Kendrick Lamar EP wasn't even out. Cole was on the album with Drake, Jay-Z, Jeezy, before Kendrick. Stop talking about this man like this is your father or something, man. J. Cole just soft. I wouldn't say he's soft. I think he's like insecure about his music or something. When Cole first came out, he wasn't like, yeah, when Cole first came out, he was not like that. Cole was actually like that. Grown Simba and all that, Return to this Simba. J. Cole has to become like that. He must have did ayahuasca or something.
Shooter for not trying to put
Like-
him on the track.
In that moment, he chose the song over the competition and what they gonna say, boom, boom, boom. And that takes like a level of egolessness. You putting your ego to the side. Like, yo, I wanna make the best song. For what we have available right now, I wanna make the best song. You know what I mean?
Gabby says, some people have that energy. My reputation precedes me. He's an everyman type of dude. I don't mind him being an everyman type of dude. Some people don't like it. FNL Def got to me before I heard Dot. Yeah, FNL, by the time FNL came out, I have heard Kendrick. But Kendrick was not like, when Friday Night Lights came out, Kendrick was not, like, I don't even know if Overly Dedicated was out by that point. J. Cole was already popular. Drake was a superstar by 2010. He was already a superstar in rap. J. Cole was like probably one of the most popular up and coming rappers. And Kendrick was still unknown. So to be talking like Kendrick is like so above you, it's just odd to me. Cole doesn't sell like Kendrick, doesn't have the popularity of Drake. Therefore, he still aspires to be like them. But J. Cole does his own thing, right? He may not sell like Kendrick or have the popularity of Drake, but J. Cole produces his own music. J. Cole will do a whole album with no features. J. Cole lyrically, you could argue J. Cole is better than both of them. Without that Jay-Z push and the whole story of him waiting for Jay-Z to hear his song, he would have never made it. Yeah, but that's a woulda, coulda, right? I'll never forget him being pressured by fans, including myself, to remake that Dead Presidents remix. And the second one was still not better. I like both of his Dead Presidents, especially the one on the warm-up. But Lupe Fiasco got a crazy Dead Presidents freestyle.
I will say that the tree and the cloth that I'm cut from and that he's cut from and that Kendrick is cut from, you expect that. You know what I mean? Like you coming up with maybe the music that you was making at 16 and like maybe just stepping into these other events.
Yeah.
I understand that you approaching it from a different mindset where it's like, yo, you're not really a part of like the culture of this event. Y'all don't come from that. And that's cool. I love that. I love that y'all don't. I love what y'all, but we do. Drake.
I don't. Yo, Cole, I love that y'all, you know, Lil Yachty, I love that y'all generation ain't competitive, don't really care about the art form. Just say anything. I love that. Yo, dudes be trying too hard not to sound like old heads. Like they don't want to sound like a hating old head, so they just start accepting anything. J. Cole, you do not love that, bro. You know that.
And that you approaching it from a different mindset where it's like, yo, you're not really a part of like the culture of this event. Y'all don't come from that. And that's cool. I love that. I love that y'all don't. I love what y'all, but we do. Drake ain't looking at it like, I'm gonna take Cole fucking head off at some point. Nah, he come from that cloth. Yeah. So at some point in time, he gonna want his lick back. Like, oh, that's what y'all think? All right, bet.
But all that humility came back to bite him after the like that.
And that's why I say you could like Drake or not like Drake, but he is hip hop. The way Drake moves, I don't know about this whole lawsuit. You know what I mean? But Drake, certain things he does, he do be acting hip hop. Like when Jay-Z got Drake on Light Up, which was on Drake's album, Jay-Z out-rapped him. Drake came back a couple albums later, Pound Cake gave one of his best verses, out-rapped Jay-Z. You take a shot at Drake, if you big enough, he gonna respond. Like it's hip hop. Lil Yachty's like, oh yeah, we don't come from that. Come on, man. Stop accepting stuff like this.
That era kicked off. Cole dropped 7 Minute Drill, a Kendrick diss that, honestly, didn't move the needle for most listeners. Then, instead of standing on it, he backtracked, saying the track didn't sit right with his spirit, and eventually deleted it off streaming
service. Yeah, and the album that it was on was called Might Delete Later. He knew he didn't want to do that. I actually didn't think 7 Minute Drill was that bad. I enjoyed it, especially that first beat. I enjoyed 7 Minute Drill. I just think the angle that J. Cole took, there wasn't the angle to take on Kendrick. Like, yo, your first album was cool. Your third album was weak. Your last one was trash. Cole, that's what people say about you. You can't say that. Like, nobody believes that any of Kendrick's albums are trash. Like, so, like, your own fans don't even believe that. So to try to get that off on a diss record, that ain't the angle. But I like the beat. See, Drake on Push-Ups, that was the right angle. Yo, Kendrick, you getting extorted. Top Dog is all in your contracts. Like, you a slave to Top Dog. That's the right angle to take. Not this whole, yo, your album sucked. Nobody believes Kendrick's album sucks. Solo dropped an Instagram video follow-up to the tweets. Yeah, Absol's going to come out and apologize because that's what all TDE artists do whenever they speak out about their concerns. They end up apologizing. So... It's a boot camp over there at TDE. It's a boot camp.
Forms entirely. That one move set the internet on fire, disappointing fans and giving critics all the ammo they needed.
J. Cole committed career suicide. I don't give a fuck what he's saying on the fall off. And I'm a J. Cole fan. I'm deleting all your shit out my iTunes. I want all your posters off my wall. Nigga, I'm not.
Well, this is just a Drake stan angry that it didn't end up J. Cole and Drake versus Kendrick. Because that's what it was shaping up to be. J. Cole and Drake versus Kendrick, not J. Cole versus Drake versus Kendrick. It was like a handicap match.
Fucking with J. Cole no more. I'm throwing all them fucking Pumas I got. I'm throwing all them shits away. You had some panties on last night, man. You had some boy shorts on under them fucking sweatpants. What you did last night, every nigga that's that nigga in the culture that you're in, trust and believe they looking at you a different way today. You can never come back from this.
Yeah, Gabby said, my first one, like my last one, that's a classic. You don't have them. Was that Cole? Yeah. One day we need that full version of Euphoria to drop. I heard there's like a 17-minute version of Euphoria by Kendrick, but they just clipped some stuff out. And obviously some of what they clipped out was some of the J. Cole disses. Punch said that some of it was the disses at Drake that kind of went too far. But then some of that is the J. Cole disses too. Like, we need to hear that. Somebody, anonymous, Anon, hey, yo, go leak the full version of Euphoria. The streets need that.
Gotta cut his dreads. He gotta go back to waves. Fuck letting Nas down. You let every nigga that's ever supported your career down last night. That's a fact.
Some even went as far to say that the way he handled it basically disqualified him.
Specifically to Cole, then don't rap about being the one. I'm not disqualifying him from being a great rapper and a
Paul
great
in the
artist
chat.
and somebody who's beloved and somebody
Yeah, but
you're
saying,
celebrate.
but you are simultaneously saying he is down a peg.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bro, you can't say you're number one, and when somebody says, oh, I don't think you are, that's on your level, you go, I don't want
So,
this.
but yes, you spent many months, many records, many times saying that you are the GOAT. Matter of fact, the most recent time
I'm not even really actually mad at Cole like that for this. A lot of people was mad. I'm still listening to Cole. I don't look at Cole any differently because of his apology, to be honest.
that there's a big three, and I'm Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is synonymous with the greatest in physical battle, Muhammad Ali, right? So you said that. Someone called your bluff, and you didn't want to. My real critique of J. Cole before his apology was going to be, I thought he overplayed his hand in 7 Minute Drill.
In the aftermath, a lot of Cole fans were left wishing he handled things differently. Because now, for the first time since the mid-2010s, his status as a Big Three member is really being questioned. If Cole stayed in this beef, the conversation would be very different. Although, J. Cole tried to explain his
I don't
outlook
know.
on Port Antonio, where he claimed
Yeah, the Port Antonio joint. This was work for me. The Port Antonio. This was a worse look than him apologizing. Cause this is a song basically being like, "Yo, Drake, you're not answering my phone calls. I love you. Like, here is a song about how much I love you, and here's a photo of us in Port Antonio, Jamaica. Like, do you remember when we were friends?" This was actually worse for me. We never looked at Cole as a top 10 rapper of all time, though. I think some people would argue he is. It depends who are you putting above J. Cole. J. Cole it just depends who are you putting above J. Cole. I don't look at him any different either. He should have never jumped in. Something that clearly wasn't really about him. Now his narrative all tangled up. I think it was about him though. I think just the way that, because Kendrick said F the Big Three. You know, Drake and J. Cole. The thing is, it's about how Cole jumped into it. He jumped into it. The optics was he's jumping into it defending Drake. When really he should have jumped into it. To put it in wrestling terms, who watches WWE, right? To put it in wrestling terms, it turned out to be a handicap match when in reality it should have been a triple threat. Bro, you're J. Cole. You don't need to come to the defense of Drake. That's how it was looking. I would say lukewarm. He's in the top 25. Yeah. I don't have any three of them in my top 10. Kendrick is definitely in my top 10. You know, Pac, you know, Jay-Z, Kendrick, Lupe. You know what I mean? I would really have to sit and think about my top 10. Nas, you know what I mean? Yeah, it took 6 to 8 years to get the original Element disc. We're gonna have to wait for Euphoria. Yeah, we need an ethical hackers to come through and leak that. It don't gotta be mastered. It could be unmixed. I just want to hear what he was talking about. It's the optics of first-person shooter. Yeah, and first-person shooter, yeah, just the whole thing, how it looked. It looked like it was gonna be Drake and J. Cole versus Kendrick, which nobody wants. Really, what we want is Drake versus Kendrick, which is what we got. We didn't want J. Cole versus Kendrick. Neither fan base has ever wanted that, historically. Like, J. Cole and Kendrick share a fan base. So nobody is sitting here being like, yo, we want these guys to go at it. What people were asking for from Cole and Kendrick was a collaboration. That's what we've been asking for all these years, a collab album, not a beef. That's the way Cole went into it, which looks soft. Like, why are you jumping to another man's aid? You're J. Cole, buddy.
explain his outlook on Port Antonio, where he claimed he didn't rap because he was in fear of losing his friends.
They see this fire in my pen and think I'm dodging smoke. I wouldn't have lost the battle dog, I would have lost the bro.
But in a genre where competition is everything, an explanation like that just didn't cut it. To many, hip-hop is a sport, and when you step off the court mid-game, your stock drops. And now, Cole has been getting disrespected in ways that no Big Three member ever should. That said, there's still a chance to turn things around. His long-anticipated album,
Yeah.
The Fall Off, is still on the way, and with all the hype surrounding it, it could be his shot at redemption. But it's clear that he's still as much of a relevant figure as ever, even though his enemies and doubters are now trying to capitalize on the weaknesses they see. This is why he's catching smoke from Kanye without even being visible in the public eye at the moment.
Changing gears here, Kanye West. Y'all know Kanye get on X and do his thing. So a fan was tweeting about J. Cole and posted J. Cole.
Oh, Kanye West say anything nowadays. Like, we should just stop paying attention to bro. Kendrick fan base wanted to destroy Cole. I disagree. Well, yeah, but I mean, historically, I see what you're saying. Historically, though, Kendrick and Cole is the same fan base. It's like 90% the same people. But when the whole beef thing started materializing, yeah, you started to see people who are bigger fans of Kendrick kind of separate, because Cole was positioning himself as like he's on Drake's side. He's on Drake's team. That's why I think it's good that Cole stepped out of it. Because it's like, bro, you're looking like someone's attack dog. You're looking like Drake sent you out to, like, yo, I'm gonna let my little homie, you know, like Tupac gonna hit him up. You remember that song Hit 'Em Up by Tupac? I'm gonna let my little homies ride on. He's made that bad boy. Just, yo, that's how Cole was looking. It's like Drake sent you to, like, yo, go weaken him first, then I'm gonna come in later. That's why it's good that he stepped out, in my opinion.
Cole's verse that he did on Johnny P's Caddy with Benny the Butcher. And he was basically saying that J. Cole spared Kendrick by not getting into the whole battle.
Oh, God.
So insert Kanye West, or Ye. He responded and said, I hate J. Cole music so much. It's like between Kendrick and J. Cole, I bet you industry plans asked J. Cole to diss Drake. Then we would have been accosted with a J. Cole Super Bowl commercial with no SZA song to save it. No one listens to J. Cole after losing their virginity.
Oh my God.
Well, Kanye is just saying anything, bro. This is like last live stream where when someone was like, oh, well, that's not true because the rapper The Game said, like, bro, you're using the game as a verifiable source? Stop it.
When I met up with Drake during Donda, most of the convo was me telling him he was hurting hip-hop by giving J. Cole platform, and I was saying how much I loved Future.
Now, it's funny that the enraged Ye mentioned the Toxic King himself, because in the wake of Cole essentially forfeiting his position in the eyes of many fans, it leaves a vacant spot. And to some of the hip-hop audience, there's no more suitable candidate than Pluto. Real ones know that Future is number 2 behind Drake for the past 15 years, but he doesn't have the same commercial appeal as Cole and Kendrick. When you go outside, especially if you live in the South, you always hear Future in clubs, lounges, people's cars.
Well, it just depends. What do we mean by big three, right? What do you personally mean? So there is a reason why, like, Future was out during the same time that Drake and Kendrick and Cole were coming up. Future was also coming up during that same time. But there's a reason why he was never considered big three until right now. Because rapping wise, he was never as good. It was clearly, he was never a talented rapper like that. Nowadays, people look back because the bar is different. Like back in 2010, the audience, it was still largely lyrically focused. We were looking like for lyrical stuff. So an artist like Future, there's a reason why he wasn't considered big three. Because people didn't think he was that good. He just makes catchy songs. Now today, the audience, the way it is where people just like want to hear beats and like stuff like Summers and Net Spend, which is kind of just like mindless babble. Yeah, Future kind of fits that. But we can't go in retrospect and be like, oh, well, no, Future's actually big three, because no. If he was actually big three, he would have been considered that at the time. He was out at the time. Future and Nicki complete the top 5 blog era to me. I wouldn't put Future in that because Future really started getting a lot more popular after the blog era, like 2014 when he went on that whole run with Beast Mode and 56 Nights. But during the blog era, Future was out, but he wasn't like, his music just wasn't good enough to be put next to Cole, Kendrick, Drake, even Nicki. I mean, this is facts.
Facts.
Future had the album Honest. He had some stuff out, but he got popping after the blog era, like really, really popping after the blog era was already over. So the bar for top 3 is way lower than it used to be. It probably has never been this low just because of what's been accepted commercially. Yeah, that's why I say now. And now you can say, yeah, Future should be big three. Just the quality of music is a lot lower. Have y'all listened to the radio recently? It's literally mindless. It's mindless. It's like mindless dribble, mindless babble. It's like you will get dumber listening to the radio. So the bar is a lot lower. Even 15 years ago, 10 years ago, the rappers on the radio was Kendrick, Drake, Cole. I mean, you would hear them at some point. A$AP Rocky with Future, if you're talking about blog era. A$AP was like the tail end of the blog era. Like A$AP wasn't popular in 2010, 2011. A$AP kind of got popular maybe into 2011, early 2012. Like Future, when I started seeing Future really get popular was after, well, not really get, he's Dungeon Family, so he had a name. But it was after the Free Bricks joint with Gucci Mane. And that's after, or like the very tail end of the blog era. But really, Future's big run was the 56 Nights, the Beast Mode, the Monster mixtapes. And that was not the blog era. The people that rap aren't going to be popular enough for a big three in this era. Yeah, at all. His last song, Money on Money, not that great. I don't even listen to Future. I'm not going to hold you. Yeah, A$AP Rocky was the last of the blog era. I wouldn't even say he was blog era. You could probably make the argument that he was the very tail end, but I don't even think A$AP Rocky can be considered blog era.
Etc. Future's catalog can go against anyone. This is from a user who was discussing why he thought Future should be in the big three conversation. But while there is a notion that he should be occupying the position just behind Drake in the rankings, there are others such as 21 Savage who...
Come on, bro. Like, what are we talking about? 21 Savage? Yo, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Do you just mean top big three, like the most popular rappers? All we have to go do is look up stats. If that's what we're going to consider big three. 21 Savage, stop it. Man, where's my Michael Jordan get some help joint? Where's my... Oh, let me try to find this. I gotta play this. Stop it. Get some help. Where is it? Oh, see, I can't find my Michael Jordan one. Did I even put it on here? Okay. We're gonna use this one instead.
Nah, I don't feel like you standing on business, nigga.
Yeah, 21 Savage should not even be anywhere near this conversation at all.
Insists that when it comes to appealing to the streets, he is unequaled.
Niggas don't be listening to Drake like that. Well, if I wasn't a rapper, I don't feel like I still would listen to Drake for real. It's just I'm a rapper, so I understand the work he put in now, how hard he go. Like when you ain't no rapper, all them statistics don't mean shit. A regular street nigga don't give a fuck about how many times you went number one, like how many white.
And we don't care about what a regular street dude think. Yo, who cares what y'all think, bro? Nobody, like. Nobody cares.
To your shit, cause they don't even think that them niggas, the farthest they think is the club. Who's selling this club out? That's who they think is the biggest niggas. Like in Atlanta, it's.
And we don't care what y'all think. Who is sitting here thinking, oh, well, what does the regular street guy think about this deep hip hop conversation? No one's thinking that. The opinion that matters most to me in terms of this big three conversation is the backpack audience. The underground heads, the people who can see the big three forming as it's forming, not looking back in retrospect, but people who see it and call it as it's coming up. We don't care about, yo, this music, you can't play this around females. Yo, what do the street guys think? Yo, what does my teacher who's 70-year-old think? We don't care what y'all think, bro. It's a hip hop conversation. Troy need help to tell people to get help. Stop it. Get some help. Yeah, what does Ja Rule think? Like, bro, the regular street guy's opinion on some underground hip hop conversation. Who cares?
A lot of niggas who you really can't tell them Future ain't bigger than Drake.
Really?
Oh God, nigga. I used to think that. Drake ain't really no big mixtape artist like that. How you got all your Drake albums, you probably really went in the
That's cap. Drake probably got the biggest mixtape of all time. So far gone. So look, you got like a dude who's a regular street guy conversation trying to talk about some underground hip hop stuff. No, talk about the streets. Lead a nerdy hip hop conversation to the people who is nerdy hip hop. Now, if you just happen to be a street guy who's also nerdy hip hop, okay, come in on a conversation. You talking about Drake not a big mixtape artist. That's literally how Drake got popular, was his mixtapes. He had the song Successful with Trey Songz, which is on a mixtape. He was remixing certain beats, Kick Push. He was rapping like Fonte, Nicholas F. Then he dropped the So Far Gone mixtape. Dropped a mixtape that sounded like an album. Yeah, remember that? This is why these guys' opinions don't matter.
Throwing about them motherfuckers. Every Future album I ever heard was a bootleg. Niggas was bootlegging it or going to live mixtape. So when nothing was the same or whatever, all that type of shit came out, nigga ain't knowing how to get to that shit.
After 9 studio albums, various collaborative projects, and dozens of platinum plaques, Future has arguably earned his position as one of the true greats. Sure, there are some who have critiqued his lack of shift in subject matter, or felt that his refusal to evolve beyond his own sound limits him. But much like J. Cole, Future knows what he excels at and sticks with it. However, the idea that he should occupy a space in the big three isn't even a new idea. In fact, people like Charlamagne and DJ Vlad have been debating this position for years.
J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake. They are the bar. Remember when Jay-Z said he used to argue all day about who's the best MCs, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas? Cole.
Now stop. So I like that Charlamagne, he used the lyric to define what big three means. Because this is where the conversation comes from. It comes from that Jay-Z bar on Where I'm From. I'm from where the drug czars evolve and thugs are at odds at each other's throat for the love of foreign cars, argue all day about who's the best MC. Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. The criteria is who is the best MC. So the fact that we're talking about Future and 21 Savage is extremely disrespectful to the MC. These guys just make catchy songs. With all due respect to the Dungeon family. Yeah, street rappers and street dudes are the most conscious, yeah. Yo, I forgot that. Those are the only opinions that matter. And strippers, too. We just care so much about their opinion on hip-hop, right? But Future sick Kendrick on Drake. Not gonna lie, he's kind of genius. I got the feeling Kendrick was forced into that mess, but followed through. I don't know. That's an interesting conversation to have. I don't think 21 is bumping Killer Mike in the whip. 21 Savage's opinion on hip hop, I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't mean nothing to me. Do not dismiss that based on personal beliefs. Too Short, Master P, even your Jehovah, I think you're talking about Jay-Z, needed to be pushed and accepted by street dudes. What do you mean? Needed to? I mean, that's the kind of who they made music for, right? That was their target audience. From Lil Jon all the way to Future. Jay-Z pulled a J. Cole and throwed himself in that. At the time, Jay wasn't on their level. Right. But Jay became that.
Kendrick, Drake, those are the three.
I think that Future is hotter than Kendrick right now. And I would probably also say that Future is hotter than
So
Kendrick.
Vlad didn't hear what Charlamagne just said. Who's the best MC was the criteria. Vlad is talking about, well, I think this guy is hotter and that guy is hotter. Hotter meaning trendier, no Diddy. But that ain't the criteria.
J. Cole right now. Yeah, actually, I would say that. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
That's not true. I mean, but no, you know what? Hot maybe.
Yeah.
Because hot is relative.
But who's the best
For the
MC?
moment. Right now, people are checking for Future more than they are checking for Kendrick.
Yeah, but guess what?
Cole.
J. Cole and Kendrick have amazing catalog.
Kendrick has 2 albums.
And Section 80 mixtape.
Okay, fine.
You know what I'm saying? Kendrick's going on tour next month. J. Cole's been on tour all year. Like, J. Cole's platinum with no features, no single.
I understand that. But in terms of the impact, I believe that Future has more impact than J. Cole.
So he's talking about who's hotter. He's talking about impact. The criteria that Charlamagne just said is who's the best MC. I couldn't get the vibe of Future until I started listening to his loose poetry, and the music sounds much better. I get the vibe of Future. Like, Future is a guy I listen to situationally. But am I like a fan of his music? I wouldn't say I'm a fan. He got stuff. Well, if he drops something that I like, I'm not gonna front on it like I don't like it. Like the whole Dirty Sprite 2, I like that. 56 Nights, I like that. Mad Love, I like that. He got stuff I like. Vlad just moving goalposts, facts.
and Kendrick.
In this interview from 2015, Charlemagne seemed to think that there were limitations to his appeal that stopped him from really obtaining that spot. However, he acknowledged his impact on the culture and that rappers were beginning to take cues from the ATL rapper.
Future is getting into
Yeah, and rap got worse because of it.
Legendary status because of everything he represents, everything he stands for, like certain lingo, like motherfuckers is sending out pictures of Gucci flip-flops just to let niggas know I'm fucking your girl. Like, don't get me wrong, Future's getting into legendary status. And all these guys.
Notice how it has nothing to do with music. The conversation isn't, yo, Future getting into the legendary status because look at his catalog. Look at the stuff he just dropped. No, the conversation is Future is getting into legendary status because people are sending and texting each other pictures of Gucci flip-flops. That's where we're at today. Jay not garbage, but Volume 1 was. Okay, so we're going to stop the Volume 1 disrespect right here because this is probably my favorite Jay-Z album in my lifetime. So the singles were not good. I Know What Girls Like. I'm cool off that. The City Is Mine. I'm cool off that. Sunshine. I'm cool off that. Where's the other one where they're like, yo, we don't like women. We just love our homies. Which song was that? Face Off. So off the bat, I'm taking out 4 songs. But everything else, A Million, Imaginary Players, Streets Is Watching, Friender 498, Who You With To? I was just listening to this today. Rap Game, Crap Game, Where I'm From, this is probably his best song. You Must Love Me. That's fire. It's just the singles is garbage. You know what I mean? But the album ain't garbage. Imaginary Player is Jay's best song, yeah. I remember during the blog hour when they started putting street rappers high on them top 50 albums list, they was pandering to internet trends and the memeability of rap. Yeah. I agree. Trap music, that's like blog era is also when trap music started coming up. You had those Duflaka James, mixtapes. Gucci Mane was on the run. Future was coming up. 2 Chainz was coming up. The Codeine Cowboy and all this. So blog era is also when trap music really started to start bubbling.
Guys are getting into legendary status, but I see overall impact broader from Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. Because Future is still for the hood. Future is still for the street. Future's for the trap.
Now, 10 years down the line, Future's influence isn't a matter of discussion, but a simple fact.
I think the most influential artist actually...
Again, we going to Kanye for his opinions. I mean, come on, man.
...of the past 10 years is Future. Most important, most influential to our sound today.
In the aftermath of the insane degree of longevity and the way he's altered...
I mean, I think you could make that argument that Future has influenced the sound the most today. But then you also consider that the quality of hip hop it's at the lowest that I remember it being at since, remember the ringtone era when rappers were just making songs to be like 6-second blips so it could be a ringtone? Rap is like at the lowest level it's been since that era. So you can say, yo, Future's had a big influence on rap today. Then you turn on the radio and they're using cues from Future and it's horrible. Sure. He influenced rap, but was it good? like, was it good? Yeah, Volume 3 is underrated by Jay-Z, Unique Sound. Yeah, Volume 3 got that song, There's Been a Murder. Fire. So ghetto. Fire. Future is not gifted lyrically, but at least he writes them himself. He has the money to buy verses like Drake, but he doesn't. That has to count for something. Yeah, I'm not saying Future is bad by any. Well, maybe I am. I'm saying Future, like his influence has been negative on rap. This is a guy who's rapping about Percocets, Molly, and then he goes out and says, yo, I don't even do that stuff. But he influenced a generation to do that stuff, right? We can say what we want about Drake. I don't know if Drake influenced people to like, or maybe early Drake. I don't know I haven't listened to a full Drake album since the Dark Lane demo tapes. But you can say what you want to about Drake. I don't think he was influencing people to do drugs and stuff like that. And his influence, Drake's influence, got people to sing more on records, but I don't think it was as negative as like Future's influence or even Lil Wayne's influence. Lil Wayne had a big influence. Rappers just freestyling, one take, punchline driven, but it's also something I think was negative.
The hip-hop landscape as we know it. This has made Charlemagne change his tune to the point that he argues for a big 4 rather than a big 3. This came after the milestone he achieved with We Don't Trust You.
Okay, Future has another #1 album. That is 9 #1s for him. If I'm not mistaken, that makes him the #5 or #6 rapper with the most #1s of all time. Am I making this up? I'm not making this up, right? If you really want to get a little spicy, Future could be in the big 3.
You mean so it?
Well, the issue is you can't go back retroactively and edit the big 3. It is what it is because those artists at the time proved that they were the cream of the crop at the time. And it's not like Future wasn't there. He just was not considered because he was not, at that time, the cream of the crop. So you can't go back and edit the big 3. Like, that's just what you can't do. Has Kendrick got any influence on current rappers? Yeah, like Logic when he first came out was sounding a lot like Kendrick. Jid sounding a lot like Kendrick. YG's first album sounding a lot like Good Kid, Mad City. Tory Lanez, I told you, at the time sounding a lot like Good Kid, Mad City. It's just hard to try to replicate Kendrick's formula because it's not a recipe. It's not a recipe for success. It's like only Kendrick can talk about this stuff and do these types of records and still go platinum. So trying to replicate it, 1, is not easy. And 2, it's not like a recipe for success. Whereas with Future, it's a lot easier to just go on a song and just ramble and then have your engineer piece it together. You know, because that's what Future does. He just goes, he freestyles, he has these different sections of songs. And like when you listen to it all the way through, it just kind of sounds like odd and random, but then his engineer pieces it together and makes it a song. I forget where I read that, but that's where I read that's how his songs happen. It's not like Future is sitting back and penning these soliloquies. He's going in, freestyling, and then the engineer, who deserves a lot of credit, is putting this stuff together. Like, okay, take this part, this is a hook, move this part over here, boom, boom. That's how it's working. Kendrick has very little influence on the game. Kendrick has the Aftermath Interscope machine behind him. Yeah, Kendrick does have that big machine behind him.
It's Drake, Future, J. Cole.
I would have Drake, Future, Kendrick. I would have Drake, Future, Kendrick, personally. The only reason I wouldn't put Future over Cole, because statistically, if you talk about like numbers and all of that, Future's over Cole. But
yeah, no one's talking about numbers.
Lyrically, if you're talking about big 3, you got to have Cole in the big 3.
With his numbers and his contributions to the sound and style of the culture outweighing Cole's, it seems like Future is a strong candidate to be seen right alongside Dot, Drake, and Jermaine in basically every metric. The only notable difference is that they are all relatively bar heavy, whereas Pluto is all about a vibe. But even though
and that was the criteria. Who's the best MC? So that's why it's bar heavy, you know?
Though he could be up there, it doesn't mean that he's campaigning for this position, as unlike artists like Kendrick and Drake, who seem intent on claiming the title of the greatest, Future just seems happy to be rich and relevant.
I'm happy as I shouldn't be. I shouldn't even
because Future is not, he's not trying to compete and like he's not that, he is from that cloth. He's Dungeon Family. Shout out to Outkast, shout out to Goody Mob. But Future don't even believe he's on these guys' level. And you're talking about pins. That's why he doesn't argue it.
be this happy. I'd be like, man, it's so much shit that about me that's not right. Man, why I'm this happy? I'd be like, man, I don't even, because it's just, I'm living my dream.
In terms of changing the sound of hip-hop, Future's illustrious run in the mid-2010s is nearly untouchable. But there have been some who have taken his teachings and expanded on them, to the point that when you're talking about the biggest artists—
Well, he's gonna say Young Thug. Shout out Rudy RA in the chat.
—out right now, it'd be delusional to exclude them from that conversation. From the release of Rodeo in
Travis Scott.
2015 onwards, there have been few artists who've reached as much consistent love from the world as Travis Scott. From Birds in the Trap Sing Like McKnight to 2018's Astroworld, LaFlame seemed to be on a constant rise. After all, Astroworld debuted atop the US Billboard 200.
So it seems for Louaista, it seems like the big three, because a lot of the clips and like the points that he's making, the big three is for Louaista. And again, everyone has their own definition. That's fine. You can have your own definition. But for Louaista, it seems based on where you're charting on Billboard and what you're selling. Whereas the big three of Kendrick, Drake, and Cole, it was not based on, it couldn't have been based on charts and sales because it started when they were all mixtape rappers. like they were getting put on these pedestals based on mixtapes and based on, you know, that's how it is based on emceeing and who's making the best songs. Now, if we just want to go off sales and charts, we don't even need to have a 30-minute video about this. You can just go ask ChatGPT who are the top selling rappers. Okay, that's the big three then.
With 537,000 album equivalent units. From then on out, it seemed like he was at the top of the world, and it took a major disaster to even briefly bring him down. Without going into too much depth, the Astroworld Festival disaster became a major blemish on his career, leading to companies like Nike momentarily backing away from him as they tried to establish where the blame should be laid. After laying low for a while after an apology video backfired, he settled hundreds of lawsuits relating to the situation and insists he is still haunted by it, which is something he expressed during an interview with GQ where he stated, "I was just overly devastated. I always think about it. Those fans were like my family. I love my fans to the utmost." It has its moments where it gets rough, and yeah, you just feel for those people and their families. The reason why it's worth mentioning when it comes to being one of the kings of hip-hop is that few careers could ever recover from that. But after finally releasing Utopia in 2023, Travis hasn't just returned to where he was at, but has surpassed Kanye West to become the third most streamed rapper of all time on Spotify.
Again, streams, again, if we just want to go off that, we can just say, yo, Drake, Eminem, Travis Scott. That's the big three in hip-hop. The big three it all goes back to that Jay-Z bar on Where I'm From. Who's the best MC? Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas. It was not based on sales. And even someone in the chat, they made a great point. They said, yo, Jay-Z said that when he wasn't even in that conversation. Biggie was already a legend. Nas was already like 7 years, 7 years in the game. Jay-Z was like on his second album when he said that. Like, he put himself in there like, yo, off the criteria being the best MC. So Jay-Z was saying knowing like, yo, I know I'm not on Biggie's level. He's the greatest from my city. I know I'm not on Nas's level because Nas is like, Jay-Z looked up to Nas in a lot of ways. That's why he sampled him on Dead President. But he's like, I'm going to put myself in here because of the bars. It's sad that hip hop is not even about bars anymore. Most of the conversations in hip-hop discourse nowadays revolve around numbers. And it's even like that in Kendrick Lamar's fan base. Most of the conversations around Kendrick Lamar nowadays revolves around numbers, where he's charting, how much tour, how many sold out seats he does. The conversation has really nothing to do with bars anymore. This man said more women listen to hip hop because of Drake. That's probably true. As a dude that was in high school when Drake first came out, Drake definitely influenced, definitely more women listening to rap. Yeah, definitely more dudes wearing cardigans. Did I ever own a cardigan? I don't know if I ever owned a cardigan. But yeah, if we just want to go off who's the big three based on numbers, we don't even need to have a video. You could just go on ChatGPT and see who are the biggest, most streamed, highest selling artists from X date to Y date. End of convo.
That's above Kendrick and Cole when it comes to numbers. This was only possible because music is his lifeblood, with everything being geared towards getting up on that stage again.
You always working, Trav, always making music all
Hell yeah, man.
Every day?
Yeah. Trav's got unlimited energy.
I know. I don't get it.
Unlimited energy, bro, all the time.
Do you ever get tired?
I mean, yeah, I get sleepy. I'm not like a robot. Yeah, I get sleepy, but I mean, it's like fun to me. When I get bored, that's when I get tired. But I try to find fun in like everything I do.
Is performing more fun, making it more fun?
Performing it might be like the best. It's like, it's the real party. And it's like, I make music to perform it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, so when you go in the studio, you're like, I'm making this, how would it sound when I perform it?
Yeah, it can be like the loudest or the calmest song. Like, you know, I just wanna.
Yeah, but also you just add that all the fans is going crazy in there. It's just like a drug.
Yeah.
Beyond that, he also has ambitions of achieving more and is angered by what he sees as repeated Grammy snubs.
Are we maybe putting too much importance on one award show? Like when you are the culture?
People always talk about that. I think about it like a club, right? If there's a club, a Grammy club, right? And it's like, man, you got Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, like these are real great.
Yeah, and I don't know, I guess I just came up in an era of hip hop where we kind of started dismissing things like Grammys and Oscars and stuff like that. That was kind of the movement, you know. couple years back. So to be like distraught over not winning Grammys, there are so many great hip hop artists who do not have Grammys. So I don't know. We're about to go into a renaissance era. All will be revealed. Rap may even become more conscious. In order for that, rap has to become, in order for that to happen, rap has to fall in popularity. That way, the only people left doing it will be the people who actually care about the art form. Like something is going to have to come and just completely overtake hip hop for it to become more focused on like the actual art form, in my opinion. Travis Scott's a dog whistle to me. I don't hear what everyone else is hearing. I haven't found his music enjoyable. Yeah, for me, Travis Scott, when I think Travis Scott, I just immediately my mind goes back to college. I just think like college frat boy who really doesn't know anything about hip hop. They just love Travis Scott. That's immediately what I think. Travis Scott got some music that I like, and I do appreciate that he's a producer and a rapper because that takes a lot of talent. But yeah, his music has never spoke to me like that.
Kanye West, you know, Jay-Z. I'm at that like at the rope, like, yo.
Plus, for a long time now, he hasn't only been a collaborator of every rapper in the so-called Big Three, but has gained their admiration as well. In fact, in Kendrick's case, he was even in awe of how much mutual appreciation there was.
I was like, yo, man, I need this K-Dot verse, because I seen him, he had a show, and people started singing Antidote, and he was like doing it with him. I was like, I'm on Kendrick radar. And that was the second time I met him at the VMAs before. Like, he walked up to me, he's like, yo, man, my name's Kendrick, your music is very inspirational. I love it. It's like super dope. I love your last album. I was like, what? Bro, you be barring ends out. You know, you be RIPing ends on the track, man. Like, you just walked up to me and was just like, yo, I'm Travis. I think when I be rapping, I be
Yeah. Asset in the chat said, yo, Pusha T said they ain't even recognize Hove until Annie. Yeah, he did. Let's go read that bar right quick. That was on Infrared, right? I ain't heard Infrared in a minute. This is a great song, by the way, on a great album. Remember Will Smith won the first Grammy? This is a diss to Will Smith. It's like a shot at Will Smith. Like all the great rappers we had throughout the 80s and 90s. Y'all remember who they gave the first Grammy to? Will Smith? Roles and Gimmicks. Remember Will Smith won the first Grammy? They ain't even recognize Hove until Annie. So I don't tap dance for the crackers and sing Mammy. This whole little rhyme scheme is a shot at the Grammys. So again, I don't know. In my era, the Grammys was kind of like a sidebar conversation. Like, who cares who wins the Grammys? They don't even recognize the best stuff that's actually out. That's how it was. But we care again. So I guess, we care again. Astro World was cool, but other than that, I have no emotional connection. Yeah, I agree with Doubted. I have zero emotional connection to any of Travis Scott's music. And Travis Scott is like my era. His music just don't. I've seen who's Travis Scott's music connects the most with. Travis Scott is a great conduit for people who are not into hip hop to come into hip hop. That's like his greatest. And he's a producer and rapper. He's very talented, and he's like an album artist. He cares about his albums, which I appreciate. His music just doesn't speak to me. But people who are not really into hip hop, they're just into mainstream, but they want to get into hip hop. That's Travis Scott's audience right there. That's who Travis Scott thrives with.
Like really listening to your music, like, man, this dude's just said a lot of bars, man. Like these raps I got right here be looking like this, man, like spaced out. I'm like, man.
Meanwhile, if the rumors are true, he may have some secret smoke for Drake.
You said there's a big rapper who secretly hates Drake despite having big records with him.
Yeah.
And some people are saying it's Travis Scott, but you didn't confirm it. So can you confirm it?
I'm gonna leave that one in the air, but you know,
are you denying it's Travis Scott?
The reason why I don't want to confirm it is because these rapper relationships are fickle. And the moment I confirm it, these two guys are gonna become friends again, and I look like idiotic, right?
Yeah.
So with the sales he commands and the tours he sells out across the world, what is stopping him from being viewed in?
So yeah, again, this is, and Louaista, he's allowed to have his own criteria for Big Three. For me, and for, a lot of us in the chat, Big Three was a conversation about who's the best MC and who's the most talented, right? Because it's not just about who raps the best. You can go find a guy off the block and he raps really well. But also who's putting these ideas and thoughts and translating them into good songs. It's about the art form. But Louaista says it here. Yo, sales and what else he say?
Commands and the tours he sells out.
The record sales and the tours that he sells. That's big three. Let's just go and can we ask Grok? If we just going off sales and tours, who's actual big three? Based on record sales and tours, which rappers are the three most successful? And we're gonna add the condition that they debuted 2010 after, right? Because we're talking about newer school guys. Debuted in rap 2010 or after album. It doesn't require a video if we just going off numbers. It's just easily searchable. Drake. ChatGPT is long-winded. Nicki Minaj. Cardi B. So this is the big three. Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Cardi B. Because that's who sells the most records. And that's who sells the most tours, having debuted 2010 or after. There's no reason to have any more conversation. But we all know that's not what the big three was about. Who's the best MC? Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. And like, who's making these records? That's what it's about. Rudy R.A., your message got retracted. You probably just got to censor something. Travis Scott has great conceptualization. Hip-hop has been lacking in the visuals because of how fast and unstructured songs have been coming out. Yeah, I have no bone to pick with Travis Scott. My only thing about Travis Scott is that his music doesn't speak to me in any way whatsoever. Like his music, his fashion, nothing about him has ever spoken to me, even though he's like of my era. But I do appreciate that he cares about the music. I do appreciate that he makes his beats. He makes his song. He has his own sound. He cares about his albums. He's an artist. Like he's someone who cares about the art form. So I do appreciate that. I have no smoke for Travis Scott.
Out across the world, what is stopping him from being viewed in the same way?
HUR said Cardi B with one album, the Hispanic B.I.G. Yeah, if we going off sales and tours, our big three is Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Cardi B. These are the facts, but we all know it's not about that. Oh, you deleted yourself? Okay.
Drake. Well, one main reason is that if you ask Travis himself, he's not even playing the same game as them. As well, he does incorporate elements of hip-hop into his music. The bars aren't the focus. And he doesn't want to be pigeonholed.
Are you a rapper? How do you describe yourself?
I just say I'm an artist.
An artist.
Yeah, because I got big songs where I'm like not rapping.
Yeah, of course.
At all. Like Goosebumps is like Diamond, and you know, I don't rap at all. But then I got songs like Sycamore where I'm rapping, and it's like, you know, Diamond too. So I'm just an artist, I guess.
That alone explains.
Goosebumps, he's rapping on that. He's harmonizing, but that's a rap song. Come on, man.
A lot. Because if we're talking about impact, Travis is easily on the same level as the so-called Big Three. But by constantly pushing beyond the limits of traditional hip-hop, he's never really tried to be a part of that conversation. And he's not the only one who feels that way. Another strong contender with a similar mindset is Tyler, the Creator.
So Tyler he's someone who could be considered. But again, Tyler was popular before Kendrick. People forget the timeline of stuff. Odd Future was massively popular. Like Odd Future was performing on national TV, like on the Jimmy Fallon show. They were on national TV performing sandwiches and all this before pretty much anyone knew who Kendrick was. Let me confirm this. Let's see when Overly Dedicated came out. Dedicated, Kendrick. This came out September 2010. Tyler, the Creator, first national. What's the best way to first national performance TV? I don't know if that's a good way to search it. I remember where it was. It was at Jimmy Fallon because the internet was going crazy. Jimmy Fallon, Odd Future. What date was this? Talent and Change. It might have been right here. Complex maybe have it. Yeah, this is it. The night Odd Future played Fallon and changed everything. Let's see if they have the date. This might have been 2011. But Section 80 wasn't out. So anyway, I remember it as it happened. Odd Future was already performing on national TV. Kendrick Lamar didn't even have Section 80 out. So I say this to say, Tyler, the Creator, you could make the argument for him, but there's a reason why he wasn't considered Big Three. He was there. He was making music. There's a reason why we did not consider him Big Three. It's because he wasn't. It was Kendrick, it was Cole, it was Drake. You can't change this in retrospect. Tyler also got popular with music that he's embarrassed now of. Yeah, Tyler Creator's early music, like he's doing some strange things with blow up dolls. He's talking about doing strange things to pregnant women. He's in videos, they're ripping their fingernails off, they're throwing up. It's funny. Tyler, this is why he's embarrassed of it. Our teacher had to be out before ODY because Kendrick mentions Odd Future or Soul mentions Odd Future on Section 80. Yeah. I found out about Kendrick off GTA 5 in 2013. Yeah, that song, Illuminate. You can have all my shine. I give you the light. And ADHD. Oh yeah, February. So Mad Moon, February 2011. That's when Odd Future performed on Jimmy Fallon. So yeah, that sounds about right. February 2011. When did Section 80 come out? It was 2011, but what month? Yeah, July 2011. And then Kendrick wasn't even popular mainstream after Section 80. Kendrick's first popular song like that was the Swimming Pools joint, which wouldn't come out for a whole nother year. So people forget, Tyler, the Creator, was popping before Kendrick. He was performing on national TV before Kendrick was even really known at all. The order goes Drake first, then Cole, then Tyler, and then Kendrick of that little group was the last one to be popular. But there's a reason why we didn't consider Tyler Big Three. It's because he wasn't. He's a different type. He's a different type of artist, hip hop artist. Tyler is more in the ilk of Kanye, Travis Scott. Like, he's not in the who's in the best MCs combo. Section 80, freshman year of college. Yeah, Section 80 for me, I was still in high school. Inglorious is still one of Tyler's best songs. Tyler was a meme rapper. Tyler was doing some great shows back then, though.
As in his view, the term hip-hop or urban music limits what he's really trying to achieve.
On one side, I'm very grateful that what I made could just be acknowledged in the world like this. But also, it sucks that whenever we, and I mean guys that look like me, do anything that's genre bending or that's anything, they always put it in a rap or urban category. And I don't like that urban word. It's just a politically correct way to say the N-word to me. So when I hear that, I'm just like, why can't we just be in pop? You know what I mean? So half of me feels like the rap nomination was a backhanded
compliment. Yeah, this is when Tyler did Igor. And I mentioned this in my Tommy Richmond video. Y'all remember the whole Tommy Richmond? He's trying to say his music should, like what did Tommy Richmond say? Like, I'm not just a hip hop artist. And I use this quote from Tyler, basically saying, stop putting my music in the hip hop category. Y'all gotta go watch that video.
You know what I mean? So half of me feels like the rap nomination was a backhanded compliment. Like, oh, my little cousin wants to play the game. Let's give him the unplugged controller so he could shut up and feel good about it. That's what it felt like a bit.
Currently touring the globe following the release of his latest album, Chromacopia, the former Odd Future leader is operating at the peak of his powers right now.
Facts.
With the album's 299,500 equivalent units,
crazy,
marking his biggest streaming and
142,000 in pure
sales. From
sales.
strength to strength while always remaining in his own lane. Although he's proven in recent years that he's a student of the game, leaning into his love of hip-hop. Putting up numbers which rival, if not surpass, what Kendrick and Drake have done in recent years, there is a case to be made that Tyler has overcome a lot to get to the point.
Well, again, Louaista, we like your videos, but again, he's making Tyler being Big Three, the focal point is the numbers, which to me, that's not what the Big Three was ever about.
numbers which rival, if not surpass, what Kendrick and Drake have done in recent years, there is a case.
Yeah, Tyler the Creator was on Cartoon Network in 2011. He was up since then. Yeah, Tyler was having his own shows. When did Loiter Squad? When did that debut? Loiter Squad. I want to say like 2013. Loiter Squad. First episode was 2012. So again, when did Good Kid, Mad City come out? Kendrick. Yeah, October. So yeah, Tyler, he was on national TV, like had his own TV show before Kendrick's first album even came out. Before a lot of y'all even heard of Kendrick. Tyler, people forget that timeline. Tyler was popping, man. I think he went a step further. Not just a hip hop artist. I think he said he's not a hip hop artist, period. Yeah, I'll have to look that quote up again. I thought he said he's not just hip hop. Let's see. Tommy Richmond, not hip hop. Let's see what Billboard says. What, do I have to subscribe? He said, I'm not a hip hop artist, he said, before trying to clarify what he meant. He said, I don't want to be boxed in. I grew up on hip hop, but I'm a singer. I'm not solely a hip hop artist. He said he's not solely hip hop.
Be made that Tyler has overcome a lot to get to the point where he could be considered for a spot. Because he's battling the deficit of the days where he willingly allowed audiences to take him less seriously.
Does the hype change your view on life? Yes.
Yeah, I do. Cinder said, I do think Louaista loves rap. You can find old music he made. It's just his videos are contrived in engagement for me. I don't think they're, I don't think that way about Louaista's videos. And I think Louaista knows hip hop. If you go watch Louaista's older videos, he was doing album reviews. So he's studied the art. I mean, he has 1 million plus. 170K views in a day. I mean, the dude is, we ain't trying to pocket watch, but just based on the views, he's probably making like 20, 30,000 a month off making these videos. It's way more profitable than an album review. So I think he knows, I think Louaista knows hip hop. That's why he's able to make these videos. But yo, 20K in a month. 20K plus, probably more than that. I've seen some creators, yo, some people are really making bank on this YouTube thing.
Kind of sucks because people are expecting shit, but they don't know anything because it's just hype. They don't really know history or anything. They just know one song and then go based on that.
Then everything changed when his hero, Pharrell, sat him down and helped him realize there was another way.
Pharrell looked at me and said,
make something undeniable and make it equally as infectious. Why are you doing music? Is it just because you just want to look cool? Because that will burn out. When it becomes purpose-oriented, it can be as cool as the flashy shit, but it will be much more meaningful.
Meaningful, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay, no more being silly, no more music first. And at that moment, I just wanted to change everything. I just wanted to switch, and the switch fucking happened.
Alongside that, his music has matured to the point where now he's undeniable.
If I had started making music at 24, bro, if I started at Flower Boy and then this, bro, I would be a god. Like, I didn't realize I should stop yelling on songs till I was 24.
But
well, that's how he got popular though, so it worked.
There are reasons why he isn't always taken into consideration, aside from how he started out. Much like Travis, Tyler himself doesn't care for the debate of coming to a culture-wide consensus top 3, only about what individual fans enjoy.
I tried to debate Tyler last night.
I think Tyler is more concerned with a different type of big 3 conversation. When you start talking about who's the hip hop artist who's best at directing their music videos, coming up with fashion, like when you combine all that stuff and then you pitch that to Tyler the Creator, who's the best big 3, if you don't mention him in that, he would take issue with it. And then you would see that he's actually concerned with a big 3 conversation, but not as it pertains to Kendrick, Cole, and Drake, which is a more MC-based big 3. He wouldn't put himself in that, I don't think. But if you name like 3 artists, like, yo, the big 3 of hip hop curators of the past decade are Westside Gunn, Kanye West, and you leave him out, then you would see he does care about it, but you just have to tweak the criteria.
The whole best rapper in the game, you know, the big three. They talking about Drake, Kendrick, Cole. He wouldn't go for it. He says the only thing.
Gives a fuck?
Yeah, he's not concerned with being the best rapper, is what I'm saying, which is confirmed here.
Hey, and you know what annoys me when people are like, "This is my top 5," and people argue it. Like, you got 17-year-olds like, yeah, like, dude, fucking Ready to Die and Enter the Wu-Tang is my top 10 album ever. I'm like, bro, you just got hair on your dick.
Well, that could be their top 10 album. Maybe they've heard a lot of. When I was 17, I had heard hundreds and hundreds of albums and mixtapes by that time. So yeah, I just really like 36 Chambers. I really like certain old albums. Yeah, I wasn't around for them, but that doesn't mean like Tyler's being a little disingenuous because he knows a lot about music and there's a lot of older albums that are before his time that he likes. So this is like a bit of a disingenuous take.
Stop. It's performative. It's like, that's your, and again, some people might be right, but I'm like, that's you got young boys and babies out here, and that's your favorite. Like, I don't care about people's objective top nothing. Tell me what is your favorite.
Well, someone's top is not going to be objective. It's going to be based on, it's subjective anyways. But I hear what he's saying. Like, what are your favorite? Don't tell me what you think are the best. Tell me what your favorites are. I hear what he's saying.
Shit, because you learn so much from people. You get context. I want to know why you think Pookie Dookie's second album is your favorite.
Instead, he's claimed his own title.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that I don't want to hear someone say why Pookie Dookie's album is their favorite unless they've heard a bunch of the other, what we consider classics. If you studied hip hop a little bit, and you've got some context, you've heard, you know, the Run DMC, all the way to the Tribe, all the way to the Wu-Tang, you know, to the Jay-Z, the Big, the Pac. If you've heard like the context, then yeah, tell me why you think Pookie Dookie's second album is the greatest. But if that's all you know is Pookie Dookie and his contemporaries, yeah, I don't want to hear your hip hop take, to be honest.
That he seems more interested.
Not gonna lie.
Referring himself to the biggest out of the city after Kenny, That's a Fact Now, on his Hey Now remix. Beyond that, he's become increasingly protective over the culture, becoming jaded with how hip-hop is seen and exploited today.
Is your frustration with them because you care about this art form so
Dude,
much?
I love this art form so much, bro. And there's so many niggas out right now that aren't musicians that are getting treated like musicians because they make meme records or whatever. And these niggas publicly will be like, I don't give a fuck about music. I just do this shit for money. Like,
I agree with you.
Like, get your bag. I love that. But like, when
I get what he means. Gold Link's Diaspora is one of my favorites, and that's in nobody's top 20. I like that Diaspora by Gold Link. Also like his album, And After That We Didn't Talk. I have that on vinyl. I actually saw Gold Link perform live before he, you know, went off the edge. He was good live. I saw him in Massachusetts, Cambridge, Massachusetts, at the Middle East on MIT campus. Busta needed Diddy to tell him to stop yelling on songs too. That gives his career more hits, versatility, and at least 10 more years than he would have. Yeah. Good A&Rs, man. That's what you need.
publication is like, hell yeah, let's put that out. A 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 20-year-old gonna see that and be like, shit, I don't really care about this shit too. This is a quick bag. Now you taking up space for niggas like me.
That
you
really
taking up
wanna be
space for
musicians.
people who really care about this art
Yeah.
form. And like, I don't like that.
Still, there are those who have pushed for him to be given a spot, most notably Anthony Fantana.
What I'm trying to say here is, through his own way, on his own path, Tyler, the creator, has become one of the biggest stars in hip-hop music. It's to the point where I feel like it's time for a discussion as to whether or not he is worthy of consideration for what we would call the big three.
No, you can't retroactively change the big three. It was what it was. Tyler was around when those conversations was happening, and he was around before even Kendrick started gaining popularity. There's a reason why he was not considered during the time when those conversations was having. It's because he doesn't meet the criteria. As a fan base, as an audience, we already decided decade plus ago that Tyler is not in the big three. Now, is he one of the is he one of the three most popular rappers from that era? Yes, but that's not what the big three was. What bad rapper do you like that nobody likes? Well, I seem to like Doja Cat a lot more than a lot of other people. But Doja Cat is not a bad rapper. She rap.
The three biggest, most impactful, most relevant, most significant current day hip hop artists alive and active, doing their thing in the mainstream.
With a catalog like the one he has and the shows he sells out, it's certainly a worthwhile argument. However, the reasons why he's now seen in this light isn't just based on the music itself. Recently, the company man Justin Hunt explained why he appeals to so many people, as he believes it's his authenticity and long-standing cultural impact that helps him get there.
With Tyler, he has all those things. His interview,
shout out good kid, bad seed, first time making a stream. Salute, really like the vid. Salute to you, man. Just hit like. Make sure y'all hit like on the video.
are crazy. His social media presence is uproarious, but very poignant, because he's very honest. Anytime he does a conversation, whenever he has an issue with something, he has an issue with something, which means he has a point of view. We know what Tyler likes and doesn't like. That immediately brings people closer to you. And then you start just thinking about the impact of Loiter Squad. He had a whole sketch comedy show. So there's a whole generation that grew up laughing.
I mean, not even just that. Look at Tyler, the Creator's group. Yo, we were saying Odd Future was the new Wu-Tang way back then. And Tyler didn't like when people said that, but it's true. You had so many individuals who were great in their own right, but also great as a group. You got Mellow High, Haji and Left Brain, and Damo Genesis, who were making good music at the time. Damo Genesis ended up having a nice little underground catalog. He done a lot of work with The Alchemist. Who is this guy? I don't know who that is. Mike G. He had some success in the underground. You got Jasper and Taco, who are... Taco is really like, he's on some other stuff. And who's the big dude? L Boy. They like on some other stuff. They're doing very successful in their own right. Sid the Kid, who did really well with the internet, with their R&B group. Mos Def's daughter, Layla, takes a lot of influence in her music from Sid the Kid. And then you got Frank Ocean, who's probably one of the most popular R&B artists of his time. All this comes from Tyler, the Creator's group. So that's impact right there.
With Odd Future and the crew. You know, you look at the success of Earl, for example, or Frank Ocean, for example, right? So we've seen other Odd Future, Tyler, the Creator products have incredible appeal from a music standpoint on their own. You look at the success of his festival. You have a whole, at least Los Angeles, a whole coast of people who are used to running to Golf Wang's store or to Camp Flog Gnaw and experiencing Tyler's imagination and his perspective, perhaps separate from his music altogether.
Over the course of his now lengthy career, Tyler has created a world for his fans to delve into, where there are many who will count him as their favorite artist. And to him, this is probably a bigger accolade than being viewed like Cole, Kendrick, or Drake is. But he's not.
That's what I said in the beginning. You asked Tyler, do you think you belong in the best rapper conversation? It's not even something he'll consider. Do you belong in the best rapper big three? No. But if you start naming like people who are curators in hip hop, and you leave him out, like, yo, I got Kanye, Westside Gunn, and who's another curator? And ASAP Yams. And you start leaving him out, I bet you he's gonna start caring about that conversation. Haji Beats got a baby with Nelly Furtado. Yeah, I thought that was really random. But salute to Haji Beats. Last I saw, Nelly Furtado had that thing. Maybe I was thinking of someone else. Got that I'm Like a Bird song. Or maybe not. Maybe she don't have that thing. Maybe the picture I saw was Photoshop. But yeah, shout out to Haji Beats, man. That's a come up. Tyler's an L rapper. I'm not really that huge on Tyler as a rapper, to be honest. I like his pause. I like the way he packages his art, we'll say. Jay Worthy is a dope curator. Yeah, he's not on the level of Tyler, the Creator. Or Westside Gunn. Tyler used to say Earl was the best lyricist in OF. Yeah. That goes without saying, right? Infamous Eli says Nelly thick now. Yeah, that's what I thought. I saw a picture.
The only potential applicant for a position in this crowded marketplace at the top who has a cult following. Just a few months back, Playboi Carti fans were essentially saying they were done with him, even planning boycotts of his music.
Playboi Carti.
But this was all just to leverage the release of his album. And if anything, it speaks to just how important he is to the modern landscape. Not to mention that even without
So we mentioned 21 Savage and Playboi Carti. Like, yo, Troy, you gotta check out LaRussell new song with T-Pain and Mozzie, where he raps on a boom bap beat. Yeah, LaRussell, I've heard good things about him. I'm gonna definitely check that out. T-Pain and Mozzie and La Russell. That's an ill combo right there. Yeah, they're talking about an updated Big Three. There is no updated Big Three. Like, my thing is just, what is your criteria? What is your criteria? Because it seems like we're only talking about rappers who debuted after a certain time, but then we're heavily accounting sales and tour numbers into it. Like, it's just, what's the criteria? The Big Three has always been about the art form, and now the conversation is more about who's the most popular, who's making waves. I don't even know if I want to watch Playboi Carti's section on this, because this is like not even a conversation worth having. I think Ty Dolla $ign is underrated. He's not really a rapper though.
Dropping a project for 5 years, he was a key player in some of the biggest songs in recent years, like Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign's Carnival, Future and Metro Boomin's Type Shit, Travis Scott's Fiend, and The Weeknd's Timeless. And when his album Music finally emerged in March of this year, it immediately became the biggest rap album of 2025 so far.
You got 3 Kendrick Lamar features. Does this album do that without those Kendrick features? I don't know.
With sales that nearly tripled the opening week performance,
does this album do that without them Kendrick features? I don't know.
Of the beloved Whole Lotta Red. And as far as his fans are concerned, all was immediately forgiven.
This does not feel real. First thoughts?
First thoughts, man. I mean, listen, 30 songs. We know that when it comes to Cardi.
Playboi Carti is like similar to Travis Scott to me, in that when I think of Playboi Carti, I immediately envision his fan base. Like when I think of Travis Scott, and I think of his fan base, for me, just based off my experience in life, I just go straight to frat boys. You know, they love Tyga, they still listen to Rack City and all that, and then they love Travis Scott. When I think of Playboi Carti, it's not the same fan base as when I'm thinking of Drake or Cole or Kendrick. And that's all I'll say. Without being offensive, that's all I'll say about that. Ty is a singer, he just rap here and there. Yeah. Those songs would have been hits without Cardi, so what are we talking about? I wouldn't know if Ty Dolla $ign music is good, but I think his name sucks. Ty Dolla $ign got good music and he actually plays instruments. So he's good. Ty Dolla $ign taught DJ Mustard how to make beats. It was YG, DJ Mustard, Ty Dolla $ign. They all came up together. Tooted and Booted and all that, they all came up together. And yeah, Ty Dolla $ign taught DJ Mustard how to make beats.
Lady's been going more into like the deep voice, and I think that that's something that like I was happy about with this album, is the fact that you're
infamously, like, yeah, they love Tyga. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I didn't want to get disrespectful with it, but like, yo, they still listen to Tyga, you know, oh, Rack City, bro. And then they love guys like Travis Scott and Playboi Carti. I've been around these people, so I already know what it is. So like that, we're not gonna even get disrespectful. I'm gonna just stop it there, but you can kind of catch my drift. Cali Flyer Cleopatra says, do you like Messy Marv or E40? What y'all know about that Messy Marv? Sitting on candy, playing with my nose. Niggas can't stand me, playing with my nose. Playing with my nose, nigga, playing with my nose. Y'all know nothing about Messy Marv.
Getting his most diverse vocal performance out of any album in his entire...
Yeah, Javi said it the most respectful way. I was gonna say it way more disrespectfully, but Javi said it perfectly. The majority of Travis and Cardi's fan base aren't hip hop heads. I would even argue they're not into hip hop. They don't even care about hip hop. So like, I don't care about their opinions or them buying albums. Like, their opinion on hip hop does not really matter to me.
Catalog, so that was really cool to see. I think some people might take issue with like the low distorted vocals that sound similar to Future, but if he's pitching down his vocals and sounds like Future, it's not really his fault, right? Didn't live up to the hype.
Like the Travis Scott and the Playboi Carti fans, yeah, they're not hip hop heads. These are the guys, they'll go to Camp Flog Gnaw for the vibes. They don't really care about the music. They can't recite an Earl Sweatshirt verse. You know, they don't know anything about Sid the Kid. They're just at Camp Flog Gnaw because they can afford it, because it's something to do. Yeah. So like, these people's opinion on hip hop or how many albums they're buying, I really don't care about it.
Yes, it did. It absolutely did. I'll explain to you why. Regardless of 30 songs or not, I kind of see this as like a Donda situation, right? Where you go into a Donda, you have songs like Okay Okay and Junior. In my opinion, at least, those are songs I'm never revisiting. There's gonna be bloat in every track list that's gonna have like 25 plus.
Yeah, they love the they love the Kanye West music. They like the Travis Scott, the Cardi, Playboy Cardi, fans. These are the people, they love new Kanye music. Whereas us as hip hop heads, we probably not even really listening to that. We like the Graduation, the College Dropouts, even the Dark Fantasies. The people who aren't really hip hop heads, they'll just listen to Kanye because they think that we like Kanye. So they try to latch on to something that's cool. And it's like, bro, we don't even listen to Kanye. It's like the frat boys who listen to Rack City by Tyga. They see a black person walk in, they're like, oh, play Rack City. Bro, this song is 7 years old. Like, this ain't what we listening to. But they listen to it because they think we listen to it. So they think it's cool, but it's like, this ain't what we doing. So yeah, I don't care at all what these people think about hip hop.
Songs.
Or how many records they buying. It matters to me not.
Impressed with this studio album is the format of the songs, because this felt like a true Southern mixtape. For example, looking at the Drought 3, right? Extreme runtime on that album, or should I say that mixtape, but you go song for song and there's quality all over it.
A mysterious artist who keeps his fans on their toes musically.
Felt like a true Southern mixtape. We're not gonna even again. Oh man, last Kanye album that was good was The Life of Pablo, but even that album was too long, too many throwaways. Yeah. One Time for the Bay, having the best Pepsi smash Yahoo Music past the mic video. Yeah, shout out to the Bay Area too.
Effect on the game at the moment is easily up there with the biggest names. Love him or hate him, one thing's clear. Everybody's got an opinion on Cardi, but while fans and critics debate who deserves a seat at the table, there's another side to the whole Big Three conversation. One that says the list can't be changed. Because to some in the culture...
That's me. The Big Three is what it is. It was determined by us during that time. Now, if you want to create a new age Big Three for the new crop of rappers coming up, we got Netspin, we got Destroy Lonely, and we got Yeet. Cool, but it ain't of the same ilk as a Nas, Hove, and whoever was the third back then, or the Kendrick, the Drake, and Nicole. It's not of the same ilk. But let me let him make his argument.
Kendrick, Drake, and Cole already earned that title by coming out on top during that era, and that kind of legacy can't just be rewritten. People are misunderstanding what the Big Three is. K-Dot, Cole, and Drake were dubbed the Big Three because they all blew up around that same time. Travis is not eligible for the Big Three. Travis is after the blog era and before the SoundCloud era. Instead of arguing that there should be additions to the Big Three as it stands, these kinds of individuals suggest that there is a Big Three for another era, and the candidates for those who were actually around at the time are the only ones eligible. And while it's hard to believe, there was a time where people like Big Sean, Wale, and Meek Mill were genuinely in contention for one of those spots. And
it's not hard. It's only hard to believe if you wasn't there. Now, Louaista, I know he was there. That's why he knows. But at the time in 2010, it wasn't controversial to say like, yo, Big Sean, he's one of the top 5 rappers out. Because everybody was biting his stuff. Kendrick wasn't even out like that back then. It was like Big Sean, Drake, Wale. Wale was coming up hard. Meek Mill, yes. To me, this is not surprising.
And Meek Mill were genuinely in contention for one of those spots. And even today, places like the Need to Know podcast are still debating where they fit in below it.
If you had to rank the Big Three number 2, the second Big Three.
Second tier?
The second Big Three of Wale, Big Sean, and Meek Mill, how would you rank those gentlemen?
Who's going
Yeah, you got to put Nicki in that.
first?
Easy, for me at least. Wale, Meek Mill, Big Sean.
Oh, I'm going Wale, Big Sean, then Meek Mill.
I'm not mad at that.
Okay, so Big Sean, I feel like every time we talk about Big Sean, I'm always like...
I got Nicki, Wale, and I might throw Future in that. Or I got Nicki, Wale, and I got Nicki for sure. I got Big Sean, because Big Sean was major back then, signed to Good Music and all that. I got Nicki, I got Big Sean. Yeah, we put Wale in there. A bad rapper due to not getting ghostwriters and not evolving with the times. That people just started hiking this year is Snoop. Ooh. Yeah, that new album by Snoop and Dr. Dre, yeah. Immediately, I'm like, yo, Snoop did not write he did not write some of these songs. Yeah, let's keep it going.
Like, I Don't Have Amnesia. Like, he literally had hits. Marvin Gaye on
Chardonnay,
Chardonnay,
yeah.
My Last,
Dance.
like, Dark Sky Paradise. The entire album was phenomenal. So, like, I do think he makes great music. But Wale, when you think about it, he always makes great music. Like, he's never, like, dipped. So that's why he's my number one.
And the pen game. Like, I've never...
Again, these are the people I won't have in these conversations. I don't want to... These are the people I won't have in these conversations. You look at them, even the way she's just talking about the music, you can tell she was there. She was there. So she knows what she's talking about. Like the way she's talking about it is it's not in retrospect. She's describing it as it actually happened. This is who I won't have in these conversations. The whole frat boy, yo, bro, play Rack City. Yeah, we don't care what you think about hip hop.
Think about it, he always makes great music. Like, he's never, like, dipped. So that's why he's my number one.
And the pen game. Like, I've never cringed at a Wale verse.
Yeah, like, he
Right.
makes,
You know what I mean?
even today, like, he makes great songs. Whereas, like, Big
cringed at some Big Sean
yeah,
bars.
Big Sean and Meek Mill both dipped in terms of
Yeah,
music quality.
true.
And then Big Sean, I just love him so much. Like, I'm never...
Yeah, that Hall of Fame album by Big Sean, only one good thing came from that, and that was the Control situation with Kendrick and Jay Electronica. But yeah, that was a huge dip in quality.
Giving up on Big Sean. I'm excited for the album. And then Meek Mill, I do think he had like a amazing era.
Yeah.
But that era is not here
I
anymore.
wish Big Crit was in that combo. Big Crit is probably in my top 10 MCs of all time. Big Crit his music is amazing, man.
In Big Sean's case, he has acknowledged the ways in which he distanced himself from the whole scenario, believing that a lack of consistency was a driving factor, but believes he can still go toe-to-toe with them.
But I also understand that I have been very inconsistent as an artist. My consistency is where I lack. I say that in that too. It's like I haven't put out music in 4 years, bro, essentially. You know what I mean? I haven't put a project out, so I can't expect to be in that conversation when I haven't been consistently feeding hip-hop and feeding fans and feeding, you know, and that's something that as an artist...
Well, Kendrick went 5 years without dropping an album, and he's still in that conversation. The issue is exactly what Shorty was saying. Big Sean's quality started dipping when Drake and Kendrick and Cole's quality started going upwards. Big Sean was kind of like faltering a little bit. And when you look back at Big Sean's career, it's not even that his music went completely off a hill. It was just so competitive at the time, and there were so many great artists that the small little hiccup, it just completely threw Big Sean's. It threw him off trajectory a little bit. Big Crit has one of the best double albums in hip hop history, in my opinion. Oh, you talking about Forever is a Mighty Long Time. I agree. That whole mixed messages, I got a whole lot of, that's amazing. That's a 10 out of 10. To me, Crit has not released a bad project. That's facts.
Facts.
Can't say the same about some of the typical rappers you'll find on the top 5 list. Big Crit's main problem was never being able to make a better song than Country-ish. I think Big Crit has made better songs, but Big Crit was never able to make a song that was more popular than Country-ish. I've never heard a whack Big Crit song, verse, or album. Everything he puts out is premium quality. And if we talking just quality of music, these are the conversations I like having. Sales and all this and who toured, I don't care. We just talking quality. Big Crit is better than J. Cole. As a producer, I would give J. Cole the edge as a rapper, but all in totality, when we talking about albums and quality, Big Crit, and I even felt this way back then in 2011, 2012. Big Crit, he ranks above J. Cole. Big Crit's beats are way better than J. Cole's. Big Crit's albums are way better than J. Cole's. Infamous Eli, you didn't like that Digital Roses Don't Die? It's more melodic. It's a more melodic album, but there's nothing weak on there. Like Big Crit's best album, which is either Crit Was Here or Return of Forever, it's significantly better than J. Cole's best album, which is probably the 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like Return of Forever is significantly better. Like Big Crit ranks above J. If we just talking quality of music and as a producer rapper, Big Crit is significantly better than J. Cole. Now Cole is a better rapper. I think I give him the slight edge. He's a better rapper, but not by much. But Big Crit, people sleep on him. Even in the hip hop community, people kind of just stopped listening to him. I think it's probably because he went. I think at some point he was signed to Def Jam and then he left Def Jam or something like that. And a lot of times when artists leave majors and they lose that marketing, a lot of the fans kind of dip off. But Big Crit has always been that guy.
It hurts because I do need to, the people who do rock and ride for me, like I want to give them reasons to be fans, and I think that just comes with more consistency. Yeah, and even like with Control, the next song we did, I made sure I had a better verse on Holy Key with, and that was just because I was like, wait, hold up, you know, I gotta like make sure I'm repping my shit proper right now.
But despite his insistence that he could still be considered in the same breath
like Young
as
Dro
those
right
individuals, Big Sean has essentially reverted back to being an underground MC, with a major label backing when it comes to his sale. As where Dark Sky Paradise shifted 173,000, his last album, Better You Than Me, only moved to 22K. And that just isn't Big 3 material. As for
it's not major label material. But when the Big 3 was initially formed, I mean Kendrick and them, they wasn't selling, they were selling about, again, it's just criteria. That 2010, 2011 class of rappers was everything. Yeah, it was everything, man.
73,000. His last album, Better You Than Me, only moved to 22K. And that just isn't Big 3 material. As for Wale, he claims he was simply too friendly for it, prioritizing relationships with other big names over coming for their throats.
How competitive are you when you're making these albums, man?
Man, it's weird, man, because it's like...
Wale's issue was he signed to MMG, and it didn't make sense, because Wale wasn't making that type of music. Like, so he signed to a rapper. Wale was literally one of the biggest names. Like, his mixtapes was fire. And he was in that conversation for best rapper out. He was in that conversation firmly. Like 2010, 2011, he was in that combo. Then he just went and signed to another rapper, which was Rick Ross, who Rick Ross at the time, he was getting a second breath in his career. Like 2 Chainz was getting a second breath in his career. So for a lot of people, this is their first time hearing Rick Ross. And it was also their first time hearing Wale. So to a lot of people, Rick Ross and Wale were peers, even though they're not. Rick Ross was out in the early 2000s. But to a lot of the public, Wale and Rick Ross are peers. And then Wale signs to Rick Ross. And then they just didn't make sense. Because the type of music MMG was making, that wasn't Wale. At the time, MMG, it was talks that they were going to sign Nipsey Hussle. That made more sense. But Nipsey actually was like, yo, I'm going to do my own thing. That's what Wale should have done.
I wish there was more camaraderie amongst like people that are like in my cipher, people that are like, that I feel like
are on that class.
Yeah, because I don't want to say nobody's music is more important or less important, but like it's people that the fans would assume that like really like have a bond, and like I try to create that, but I don't know if people are as accepting. I think the competitive nature in the joint is at a level now that it's really just cordial. Like we cool, but it's not like, I would love to sit and talk and be like, yo, what do you think about the culture? What do you think about what's going on right now? Like, what do you think we could do? Like, we don't, because we're all dropping albums at different times. We're not really competing with each other. Essentially, we are in the grand scheme of like.
Yeah, one of Wale's biggest features was on a Waka Flocka song. It always felt off to me. To Wale's credit, he managed to fit himself well with MMG in terms of having great verses. But I remember a lot of Wale fans at the time being confused. Like, why are you signing to Rick Ross and MMG? You're Wale. It's like when Mobb Deep signed to G Unit. Mobb Deep, like you're Mobb Deep, but you're signed to G Unit. It doesn't even make sense. But to Wale's credit, he had a lot of great hit records with MMG. So he did his best. But I remember a lot of people being confused as to why he signed to MMG. Like, number one, you're signing to another rapper who appears to be your peer. And then number two, they're not even making the type of music you making. Just don't even make sense. Cam, that boy said YouTube be hating. They didn't even tell me you was live. It's all good. You know, we gotta break through the algorithm. That's why y'all gotta like the video. The algorithm, they hating on the boy, on the kid. They hating on me. Just like the video, man. We gonna fight this algorithm together. Ross dropped the ball with Stolly. Dude was dope. Shout out to Stolly. He had a lot of good music. That Lincoln Way Nights mixtape, one of the best mixtapes I ever heard. Intelligent Trunk Music, fire. Ross wanted to sign Nipsey and Dom Kennedy, as well as Currency and Wiz.
The game, but like what you think, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it ain't really like that.
But it doesn't help that even though his music stays solid, it's been pulling in fewer listeners and the critical acclaim has started to dip too. He got so frustrated that at one point, he even lashed out at Complex journalists just for leaving his album off their year-end best of list.
There's no disrespect, man. I mean, straight up, I really... You know disrespect every fucking time, dog. I swear to God, I come to the office and start knocking niggas the fuck out. You want to see some ghetto ignorant shit?
I never saw this. It's crazy. I never seen this. I think he signed Wale in replace of Wiz Khalifa. Yeah, Wiz Khalifa and Currency, they were way too smart to sign to another rapper like that. Currency ended up remaining independent, and Wiz just stayed branding his own stuff, Taylor Gang, and signing his own. Wiz Khalifa signed Juicy J. He signed Ty Dolla $ign. Wiz and Currency were way too smart to like sign to Rick Ross. It just didn't make sense. For Meek Mill, it made sense. Y'all remember Pill? Pill signed to MMG too. Shout out July Jackson in chat. He said when Wale's first album flopped, that MMG brand rejuvenated his career, even though Attention Deficit was dope. Still bumped Beautiful Bliss. Yeah, to Wale's credit, he did well. A lot of people thought he wouldn't fit on MMG, but he assimilated really well. But it just wasn't a good look. Like how Nipsey Hussle went and was like, yeah, I'm not signing to MMG. I'm gonna go do my own thing. How Wiz did the same thing. How Currency did the same thing. That's kind of how Wale should have done. Now me, I kind of started separating myself from listening to Wale. Like Wale, the first thing that he did that I didn't like was this mixtape called the 11-1-11 Theory. This is when I first listened to Wale and I was like, yo, this ain't good. That's the first time I ever felt this way. Cause that, that More About Nothing, this is one of my favorite mixtapes of all time. That More About Nothing, the mixtape About Nothing. But after 11-1-11 Theory, this is when I was like, yeah, I'm good off, bro.
And from that moment of weakness, there has been no traction quite like what we had seen before. As for Meek, a combination of jail time, his handy defeat to Drake, and his antics left him out the running. Even in the eyes of
Yo, putting the bunny hopping joint is diabolical. You did not do Meek like that. At least he didn't do the Meek Mill in a pool with Diddy. You know what I mean?
As for Meek, a combination of jail time, his handy defeat to Drake, and his antics left
crazy
him
work.
Even in the eyes of Cameron, he was right there at one point.
And I asked that, no shit against Meek Mill. I just asked that because when people hear of that group, they often say, at one time I did have Meek in that group, but I wanted to know if you had him in that group. Like when it comes to when they say the big three, he would be in that class of MCs, but for some reason they don't put him in.
Cinder said it's hilarious when one person is yelling and the other is completely calm. Yeah, that's a surefire way to win a debate. If you got a person who's just emotional and like yelling in a debate and you just remain calm, the audience can see through that. It just makes you look crazy.
Big three.
To me, and Meek is my guy, is no slight towards disrespect Meek. I think Meek is almost like, and I don't want to say it's like, back in the days when you go to jail, that shit pop off for you or something. Like you come on like, oh, Tupac went to jail, or even T.I.
Every time, yeah.
Even time when T.I. go to jail, or whoever
Gucci
comes to,
Man.
Yeah, Gucci Man, great example. Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that works in this era. It's on the cusp of being mentioned with those three.
I mean, I think it works to an extent. You got Dodie Six was on the Kendrick album, and he was fresh out, right? And you got the whole Tay K situation.
Yeah.
And other things whether it's beefing with the label, whether it's going to jail for a little while, whether not putting out music as much as they have. I don't know what it is, but he was right there at one particular point for me. Not saying he's not good now, but I'm just saying he was at a time was going to be considered one of them ones to me.
However, there are still some street-oriented rappers who won't listen to the notion that Meek doesn't have a major place in the culture. And in a clip that's left,
where are we going with this? Let's see. Where are we going with this?
People scratching their heads. G Herbo placed the
Shout Just Incredible, LA Lakers,
Philly rapper in an entirely new bracket.
Who's your big three in hip hop, man? Could be now, could be then. You know, when it comes to crafting your musical taste, you know what I'm saying? Who's your big three?
See, I like that we put the criteria. Just Incredible puts the criteria first. That's what a lot of us are missing in these conversations we have. Criteria.
I ain't gonna use myself either. I'm not gonna use myself. I'm gonna go Rod Wave. I'll go Rod Wave. I'll fuck with
Rod Wave on fire. Let's go.
Rod Wave, Meek.
Rod Wave and Meek on the squad. Okay.
And then third, I'll go Baby. Lil Baby.
Lil Baby.
They're calling the man Lil Baby is crazy. Twitter is Meek's biggest enemy. Hey, he's keeping himself relevant. I think sometimes Meek be doing stuff on purpose on Twitter, like just to go viral. He just like, what can I say that people are going to go crazy over?
It's a fire three right there.
Clearly, the notion of a big three isn't an exact science, and there's no exact way to prove who should and shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But in truth, it's looking increasingly like the generation.
Well, the audience decides it. The audience, that generation decides it. This is why I say you can't change the big three. You can't take, I'm gonna take Cole out. I'm gonna take Drake out. I'm gonna take Kendrick out. You can't do that. We already decided this in 2011. Like, you can't change it. You can create a new one, but you can't change what's already been decided.
Gap means that the whole concept isn't really fit for purpose. These days, there are so many rappers who seem just as culturally relevant as some of those in those hollowed positions, if not more so in some cases. As for those who still adhere to the idea, they believe that the whole way that the music industry works now compared to when Cole, Kendrick, and Drake were coming up means that it's hard to really get to that position today. Not to mention, some of the artists who are next in line to take over never got the chance. Taken out before they could truly...
Yeah, that new age big three would have been Juice WRLD. It would have been XXX and probably Uzi Vert. Just based on how that generation was feeling. And I said that generation like I'm not a part of that generation. But I wasn't really messing with these guys' music like that. But yeah, it would have been XXX for sure. It would have been Juice WRLD for sure. And it probably would have been like Uzi Vert or maybe like Kodak. XXX, Juice WRLD, and Kodak. I don't know how long Pop Smoke would have lasted. I don't know if he would have been more of a fad but Kodak was firmly in that for sure. Pop Smoke. I don't know if he would have been a fad or not, because he was doing a lot of drill, and drill is going to come and go. I don't know. I liked Pop Smoke, but I don't know. Got my money on Pop Smoke. Oh yeah, NBA Youngboy. Yeah, NBA Youngboy. Yeah, it would have been XXX. It would have been Juice WRLD, and it would have been NBA Youngboy. That would have been a big three. But two of those three are gone.
Reach their potential. The 2010s was the last generation of rappers where the gatekeepers still technically existed, and they had artist management, and they had to be good. The next generation grew up with the internet and could use those tools to make music regardless of talent level. And it didn't...
Well, no, the 2010s we had internet too. 2010s we had internet, we had social media. This is how Wiz Khalifa became super popular. He was using YouTube, he was vlogging, he was dropping his mixtapes on Twitter, Currency. This is, 2010s, the same stuff that's out right now was out in the 2010s. Twitter was out. Was Instagram out? Maybe. Instagram probably like 2012. Well, we saying 2010s. So yeah, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Like we had all that stuff. Yeah, 2010s had the net. Not only did we have the internet, we had social media. All the same social media we have now, probably except TikTok.
Help that those who were getting bigger and started to create new sounds like XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD, and Pop Smoke died. Whoever your personal favorite out of the big three is, it seems like that's a conversation that needs to be left in 2024. Because by the looks of it, the whole model doesn't apply to the...
It doesn't apply. And the 2010s, it was a revolution of sorts in a lot of ways, which allowed for a lot of new great rappers to come out. Like we had like 30 of them at one time. you had the social media revolution, right? Which allowed different way to release music. And whenever you have this new way of releasing music, whether it's CDs, going from cassette tapes to CDs, or going from CDs to iTunes or iTunes to streaming, digital downloads, SoundCloud, there's a new crop of rappers that pop out. So social media allowed for that, and SoundCloud allowed for that later in the 2010s. But it's also combined with the mixtape era. The mixtape era that happened in the 2010s alongside the blog era, it was creative freedom until the labels cracked down on it. Like, artists were free to, even though they might have been on the label, they were free to release a mixtape outside of their label. So like what happened with Ab-Soul today, like my newest video, where you got Ab-Soul, he wants to release, really he wanted to release his album before all this. Now he wants to tour on it. But there's like friction there. In the mixtape era, Ab-Soul would have just dropped a mixtape. And then the mixtapes were, the fans, from the fan perspective, the mixtapes were better than the albums because the artist has creative freedom. So it was the perfect storm. You got the social media to where they can directly reach the audience, and then you got the mixtapes to where they can release whatever they want. And then you got the blogs who was helping disseminate all this. So it was a perfect storm that doesn't exist today. Shout out to Potty Mouth. And the live stream. You came at the end, Crody, but it's all good.
XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD, and Pop Smoke died. Whoever your personal favorite out of the big three is, it seems like that's a conversation that needs to be left in 2024. Because by the looks of it, the whole model doesn't apply to the hip-hop world we're in today. Because while their longevity is unquestioned, the idea that there's only space for this trio at the top has long since become outdated and replaced with a world where individual fan bases can push a chosen few artists to heights comparable to theirs, if not higher at the moment. It's your boy Louaista, and I want to thank y'all for watching today's video. As always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Shout out to that boy Louaista. Sanders in the chat said TDE failed Ab-Soul by giving him the creative freedom to release Do What Thou Wilt in these days. Amazing songs on those projects, but they lack cohesion. And I think that derailed his momentum. I think so. Yeah, Potty Mouth, I know you're alive. It's all good. We appreciate you for joining anyways. Ab-Soul shouldn't be on a major label. Ab-Soul is more of a guy he's going to thrive in the independent scene if he was allowed to do so. And that's going to be a lot better for him. He can release when he wants. He's got his core fan base. He can drop the merch. He doesn't have all the expectations that he has on a TDE, Interscope, Aftermath, whatever his RCA, whatever his his parent label is. He doesn't have all these expectations. I don't think Ab-Soul needs a major label budget to release an album. I just don't think he's that type of rapper. He doesn't need to go on these huge tours. He can do like smaller venues. And I think that works a lot better for him. But when you're on a major label, there are expectations. The first expectation is profitability. And if you're not going to be profitable and you don't have the mixtape era to like help you gain steam, the only other way you have to gain steam right now, you better put your music on TikTok. And Ab-Soul is just like not a TikTok rapper like that. So I think I just don't think he works well on a major. And I think Reason is smart. He was smart to get his way out of TDE. Again, I think a lot of artists on TDE fear. There's like a fear or a respect. There's something there to where, I don't know. Ab-Soul, he would be a lot better independent or on a much smaller label. Like Ab-Soul on Empire with Ghazi or something like that. That makes a lot more sense than Ab-Soul on TDE at this point in his career. Shout out to the Goofy in the comments saying Spitta was never a gangster rapper. You never went through the mixtape phase. Yeah, Currency, just go listen to his verse on Where the Cash At. Bitches come a dime a dozen, up them sisters' cousins. It's a revolving door, pussy going, pussy coming. Like, Spitta was rapping that gangster stuff. Currency was in a 504 Boys, wasn't he? Soul tried to go mainstream on these days, but it didn't work out. Yeah, that was never his trajectory. Ab-Soul's trajectory is always independent or a smaller label, either doing it himself or signed to an independent label where he can kind of release his niche style of music, and that's where he's going to thrive. Being on TDE is like, that's not it worked at first when he was dropping long-term mentality and all that and control system, but that's not today. Yeah, being independent is definitely better in some ways for some artists. Absol's not a type of artist he's not going to drop a number one hit record. That's just not, it's not in his cards. That's not how he makes music. Cinder says he said he attempted because of vape addiction. Whoa, what? Absol said he attempted these days because of vape addiction. Of course, he doesn't elaborate on why he did that, but that sounds like a moment of psychosis or intrusive thoughts. Well, all of TDE was going up at the moment. Even Schoolboy Q was dropping hit records. You know, Man of the Year, Collard Greens. So Absol, you know, hands on the wheel. So Absol probably thought, you know, let me get some of that. Yeah. I think the best thing for Absol, TDE, let this man. And Absol done so much for TDE. The whole high power movement, that's Absol's, that's his bag. And that's how TDE really got their footing off the ground with the high power joint. Put 3 fingers in the air and all that. So I think it's just TDE, they know they're not going to make money from Absol. And he's probably not going to make the money back that y'all have spent on his albums. Man, if y'all don't let that man, go live free, go sign with Empire or do his own thing, sign with PG Lang or something. He also mentioned depression and addiction for years in his songs. Yeah. And we might not have much time left with Absol, you know, just based on his health condition. And then like he tried to take his own life not too long ago. So for someone who did so much for TDE, if y'all don't just let that man drop his music or let him join a team where they're going to allow him to be creative, man. Like, what the heck? I think Ab shows to take the Starlito rap and just drop and keep dropping. The thing is, TDE is not going to allow that. Do you see how little music TDE puts out nowadays? Isaiah Rashad, SZA, Kendrick. There was a time where nobody was dropping. Now, if this is the mixtape era, yes. Absol could just be like, I'm dropping mixtape. But this ain't the mixtape era. Absol can't just drop music. TDE is looking at it like this is a financial drain on us. We got to pay for your studio time. We got to pay for the promotion. We got to pay for the video. From a business perspective, it don't make sense for them to allow that when he's not going to make the money back. And that's why it's so long. I would assume, again, ask your local music expert, but I would assume that's why there is so little music coming from Absol nowadays. Still waiting for J-Rock. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get it. I think the only way you get a J-Rock album is if Kendrick goes in and helps write it again. Because I think that 90059 album and I think that Redemption album by J-Rock, I think Kendrick was writing heavily on those albums. So it seems like Kendrick is still willing to play nice with TDE. He's got SZA all over the place. He's helping TDE keep their pockets full. Maybe Kendrick will help write the J-Rock album. I just don't, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to get a J-Rock album unless Kendrick helps write it. Apparently he has an unreleased song with SZA called Poolside Romance, produced by Mac Miller and Thundercat. That sounds great. That just sounds, those Mac Miller sessions. RP Mac, man. I love Hands on the Wheel and Collard Greens. Yeah, great songs. Redemption was amazing. Yeah, Redemption was a great album. Thank Kendrick, man. A Kendrick feature will put him right back in the spotlight. You talking about J-Rock? Or you talking about Absol? So anywho, y'all know what it is. If you want to hear more commentary with me on Absol, that's the latest video. I dropped it like a couple hours before this live stream. Is TDE ruining Absol's career? Y'all know it's against the law to say anything bad about TDE because TDE is affiliated with Kendrick. Therefore, if you say something bad about TDE, you are by connection saying something bad about Kendrick. So make sure y'all go like the video because you know how those people are. Off topic, I know not everyone will agree, but I'm so pissed that Blue Lips wasn't nominated for album AOE. What is AOE? I keep coming back to that album as well as Lupe Samurai. I wasn't a big fan of Blue Lips. I did like Samurai by Lupe. devil's advocate, you can make Absol something special for the fans, almost like a rarity. So you don't have to spend that much. He just pops out when necessary. I think they should just let Absol go. Let that man sign with Empire or something. Yeah, Kendrick has a writing credit on Num Num Juice. Yeah, Kendrick was writing everybody's stuff, man, and his own stuff. They had that man Kendrick working like a dog, man, like a mule. So anyway, this has been a 2-hour live stream. I don't even be doing stuff like this. 2 hours is crazy, but that's just what it was. So I will bid you all a good night. Like the video. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already. This is top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.